You know, one of my favorite quotes in the world of sports doesn't come from a race car driver. It doesn't come from a football, basketball, or soccer player. It doesn't come from a long-distance runner. It doesn't come from anyone in sports media. It comes from a bowler. It's a quote from Pete Weber. And when I say quote and Pete Weber in the same sentence, you'll probably think that I'm talking about the line, "Who do you think you are? I am," when he bowled a strike to claim a 2012 U.S. Open. But that's not the quote that I have at the top of my favorites list. Because I've gotten a lot of passionate responses to my takes over the last couple of weeks, and especially in light of championship weekend at Phoenix. The Pete Weber quote that comes to mind for me is the line he dropped the day he bowled his final PBA frame in 2021. Hate me or love me, you watched. That's all you could do. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final episode, at least in its current form, of Grid Encore. I'm your host, Ben Schneider, joined once again for the final time by Brandon Crosslin. Brandon, how's it going, my man? It's hard to believe it's finally here.
It's been a wild ride, Ben, and 4 racing seasons, and it looks like this is the 153rd episode, and the final episode, again, of this iteration of Grid Live Encore. Let's put the cup up another time, another Motor Monday, and let's go ahead and get to it. And Baja Blast is present, as it should be.
We may or may not need this tonight here. We're going to have some fun. I encourage all of you in the chat here. I see we've got our friend Adam here already. Ben and Brandon, I've fully enjoyed Grid Encore. You two worked really good together. Love the interaction in the chat during each show. Continued success for both of you. Take care. Thank you for that, Adam.
Thanks,
and
Adam.
You're a part of helping this show get off the ground in 2022 as well. So we appreciate that. Man, tonight I have the outlines have gotten shorter, right? As the show has evolved, it used to be Grid Live Encore. We styled it in kind of the same manner as the rest of the Grid Live programming, but you know, Brandon, you and I developed better chemistry, and we've
It's like whatever.
We've worked on an outline, over the last few years, and the outline's as short as ever tonight because I really have no game plan. I just want to hang out with you. I want to hang out with a lot of great friends and guests that we're going to have all throughout the night. Joshua Burch is going to stop by in just a couple of minutes here, and we can't thank him enough for making the time to do that because it's just after midnight over in the UK, and we want to get him in and out of here as quickly as possible. Matthew Breault is going to be here as well, Tanner Smith, and of course, Kobe Lambeth and Joe Samaniego, who have been here as long as I've been here from the beginning. And I want to hang out with them. I want to hang out with you. So if you are in the chat room, if you've been here from the beginning, if you're just stumbling across the show for the first time, either way, want to get your thoughts on some of the things going on in the motorsports world right now. Even though we're getting into the off season for most series, there still is no shortage of things to talk about. And so we want to talk about a few of those things tonight, but also look back at some of our best moments over the last 4 years and moments that wouldn't have been possible without these fine individuals as well. I promise I'm not going to bombard you asking for money tonight here, but I do want to give a shout out to our Patreon investors, at least at the start of the show here tonight. One more time, Colin, Deschelle, Mark, Robin, David, Matthew, and Crystal. Thank you so much for your continued support of what we do here at the Grid Network. And although, again, this show is coming to an end, as you've known it over the last 4 years, the Grid Network is going to be carrying on into 2026. So if you like what you see tonight and you've liked what you've seen over the last few months or however long you've been watching, you want to consider joining them and helping Grid continue to build this motorsports media outlet up into 26 and beyond. There's a link in the description box below to join them on Patreon, or if you'd rather tip us one time instead, you can visit the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description box below, or tip us on YouTube if you're watching us live through Super Chat as well. One more comment here from Adam. Man, I know you're a big bowling fan. I didn't realize you actually met Pete Weber. That's pretty cool, and love the quote. Certainly appreciate you hanging out here in the chat with us tonight, Adam. Let's bring in our first guest, somebody who I think has not gotten enough credit for helping us, Brandon, get the show off the ground, especially in 2022 and 2023.
Absolutely.
We would not have been able to cover Formula 2 and Formula 3 racing as well as we did without his contributions to this show over the years. And I know his channel has taken off and over 10,000 subscribers right now. It's been great to see. It's been harder for him to make it here onto the Grid programming. He does still do a great job and catch him every Wednesday night with Kobe and Matt on Grid Tonight. But we are so thankful to have him stopping by for one final show again, even though it's after midnight over in the UK. Joshua Burch joins us now. Josh, my man, thank you so much. It is so good to see you again. How are you?
I'm doing very well, boys. Cheers to you both as well. You got the drinks and I thought I'll pick mine up off the floor. Well, here we go. One more. I hate that you're both leaving hosting the show. I know you're going to be hopefully both back as pundits throughout, similar to how I've been doing with the Grid live shows, apart from the Tonight Show, obviously, with Kobe and Matt. But yeah, what a journey, what an inspiration. And I must admit, this year, as you know, we've on J Motorsport started covering the Xfinity and the trucks. Certainly, I've stepped into the Xfinity role as lead commentator a couple of times, filling in for Matthew Owens, and I couldn't have done that if I wasn't for working with you both over the last couple of years on Xfinity with the Encore show and being able to learn about all the access there and all of the drivers and all the history. So as much as I've learned from the Cup Series with the boys on the Grid live show, the Encore has helped me massively prepare for Xfinity, which of course now becomes the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and of course with the trucks as well. And my channel, as you said, Ben, is taken off, but NASCAR's our number one at the moment, and it's pretty much down to you two helping this Brit understand NASCAR. So, cheers.
Well, cheers right back out to you, Joshua. You helped us, as Ben said, not only with F2 and F3, but you brought Moto 2 and Moto 3 to the table each and every Monday. And I mean, you were still with us here on this show at this same hour for UK time. So like, don't act like this is a special thing. Like you did this week after week with us for an extended amount of time, and I really, like he said, help us get this portion of the Grid Network off the ground.
Yeah, and I really did enjoy it as well. As you said, unfortunately, the times got ridiculous because then we got dragged into things like, oh, this is run late. We're now running on a Monday for things. And it's like red flags kept coming out. And then we did ridiculous, like it's 24 hours. You're running on a weekend non-stop. And it was like, my voice is gone. I've got nothing left. It's still a bit bad now. Explains the water. But yeah, I wish I could have stayed on longer, but every time I got to come on and hang with you guys, it was so much fun. And all the wacky adventures we got up to was absolutely hilarious because, as you said, the Encore show sort of, you could let loose a little bit. It was the forum type show that we could all just sort of go, this is what happened outside of the main series and everything that happened. And it's brilliant. It has been brilliant. And being able to watch it as well. And just keep up to date with things I've missed, and everything's always redirected as well. That's the beautiful thing at the moment as well. With all the trucks and Xfinity, it's always redirected, so the viewers who have watched the Xfinity and the truck race know to come back here on the Monday to hear you boys talking about it. So it's really worked, and to bring Moto 2 and Moto 3, Formula 2, Formula 3 back into people's living rooms and give that a voice, that's been really important. And hopefully we'll be able to continue to do so, especially next year when things get a little bit more heated between Moto 2, Moto 3, Formula 2, Formula 3, as new drivers come in and continue to evolve. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm just going to be really sad I can't hear Ben's ranting every week, calling it the Xfinity series or not the Auto Part Riley's, whatever it is, next, and moaning about playoff formats. And it's going to be a bit different, actually.
Well, I'm not going anywhere in terms of my online presence.
Right.
You hear me talking about those things, and we'll see what they announce with the playoff format. They did announce something I want to get into with you, Josh, real quick in just a moment. But on that note, I'm glad you brought it up. Just real quick here, because we do have a packed show and a lot of guests we want to get to tonight. But how do you think Colton Herta will do in Formula 2 next year? Obviously, he's got a lot more open wheel racing experience than a lot of his drivers he'll be competing against. He's also going to be 26 years old. That's ancient by F2 standards, but not a lot of experience with the Pirelli rubber, not a ton of experience on the tracks he'll be going to for the first time. What do you think the expectations should be for him? He does only need to finish, I think, top 8, if that, with FP1s he might be able to run to be super license eligible. But you'd like to think in order to impress Cadillac, he probably needs to be a little bit higher than that even.
You know those big water parks and all the big slides that go right down into the deep end and like 20 stories up? He's going down that with a surfboard and there's no water at the bottom of the pool. He is in for a rough time.
Well, he is Californian.
Yeah, so he knows how to surf.
He's got that going for him.
But he's really going to struggle. And I don't mean that as in like, oh, an American coming over and playing with our European toys. No, he's going to have to learn a new car that everybody's struggling with the Mechachrome engine. He's going to have to learn new tracks he's never raced on. Climate is different as well in terms of you're going to be racing at tracks like Spa, where 1 minute it's, hot as anything, and the next minute it could be snowing and raining. He's going to be racing in Australia that he's never done before as well. There's so much to throw at him. It's sink or swim. So in many respects, I think the one thing he's got going for him, it is a spec series. It's a Dallara chassis, the same as what he's running in IndyCar. So it's not going to be too dissimilar to how the car would feel. They've got his seat on format, so he's going to be comfortable already. That's a positive. Because Dallara do all the seat fitting as well for both series. The Pirelli rubber is going to be a big change. We all know that's going to take like 2-3 events for him to get used to. Finding the degradation points, how to heat them up without tyre blankets is something he's already learned how to do. So he'll have the advantage there. But I would say Colton in Formula 2, it would be 4 or 5 race weekends in until we start seeing podiums and maybe towards the end of the season a win. I see him, though, taking a big, big risk doing this. But hands down, he wants to get to Formula 1. He wants to do it. And F2 is the way in. But I would have stayed in IndyCar. Indy 500, Formula 1. It's like, I know where my bread would be burned. I'd do IndyCar.
Yeah, I know a lot of folks that would agree with you on that, of giving up your seat in the Indianapolis 500 over an F2 career, which may result in a Formula 1 seat, which is so hard to get for all the regulars there anyway. So yeah, we've talked about that a few weeks ago. It's a big tough hill to climb, way more than Liam Lawson ever saw. Just big hill.
The one person you should talk to actually is Alexander Rossi, because he's done F2 and F1 and then gone to Indy. So I would not be surprised if he's not been talking to Rossi.
Yeah. And, and I think it is, you say it is a big risk, and I don't want to minimize that. It is, a big risk for him at this point in his career. But, I mentioned he's going to be 26. Elio won the 500 at 46 and is still competing in his late 40s, early 50s here. I think if it just doesn't work out for Colton and he ends up losing 2 or 3 years of his career here, I would imagine that there might be a pathway in for him to come back to IndyCar. But I think that's the biggest surprise out of all of this, is that he is doing this without an Indianapolis 500 win and without a championship. If this were, say, and again, Joseph Newgarden's a little bit older at this point, but Newgarden has both of those things, that would maybe be a little bit more understandable. It's like, you've conquered this peak, now here's the next challenge. But he's doing that, still having yet to attain those things over in IndyCar. It's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out.
And he's had a really tough couple of seasons as well, which none of this makes sense as to why he wants to go, right, let's just try F2 now. It's such a weird switched mentality. But, of course, he does race with Andretti. Andretti's still very heavily involved in this Cadillac entry in Formula 1. It is basically just Andretti without the name. And as soon as Cadillac got their foot in the door, it's going to become Andretti. We all know it. It's just, as soon as they're in, then that name change will come. So, I see why. But still, why not go for Jack Crawford? It's just such a weird one. And I still don't agree with Cadillac's decision to have Sergio Perez and Valtteri Bottas. I don't. Because Valtteri had a season in that Sauber, which is exactly the same Sauber as what it is this year. They haven't done that many upgrades. And Hülkenberg and Bottas have flown, and Bottas has not had a single point. And to me, that goes, is he really still there? And with Perez too, I think he's too old. So yeah, I don't know. It's skeptical for me, boys, about it all. But I think Herta, as I said, 4 meetings until he gets podiums. Later on in the season, he'll get a win. And I'll tell you what, he'll win at... let's see where the calendar takes it. Monza. He'll win at Monza.
All right, we'll wait and see if that prediction comes true. I like the lineup. I don't think it's a long-term lineup, but I think for year one, it gives guys that have won multiple Grand Prix over the years and gives them some short-term stability, short-term experience to help get off the ground. But yeah, long-term, you would imagine maybe Colton Herta's in the plans. Maybe Jack Crawford. Who knows? I don't see the Aston Martin seats opening up anytime soon, unfortunately. Perhaps you could say. But Josh, before we play the montage, which I know you've seen before, we're going to play it one final time here as we close out the show tonight. And, for viewers that haven't seen it yet, but I do want to, I couldn't let you get out of here without getting your thoughts one more time. There was some news that was kind of lost in championship weekend. NASCAR loosening the restrictions. Cup Series drivers will now be allowed to enter up to 10 O'Reilly Auto Parts Series and Craftsman Truck Series races in 2026. What are your thoughts on that? What's your reaction to that news?
We can get cancelled, right? That is the we can say it's like Stephen Colbert.
Anyway, who cares?
Yeah. So we
let it all out. Let it all out.
Yeah, right, good. Stephen Colbert, nothing left to lose. What a load of rubbish. Come on. I mean, why? We've seen how much controversy the Xfinity Series got when it ended. Why just go, yeah, sure, bring 10 in. Anytime. No, because that's what, 10 out of the 30. Why? 1/3 of the season. Why?
And I'll tell you what else that does, because I'm getting caught up on people's streams and listen to Brock Beard's post. I mean, Brock's a trooper, man. It was like 11 o'clock local time in Phoenix, 2 p.m. over here, or 2 a.m. I should say, over here on the East Coast. So I didn't catch a stream. I just back and listen to it this afternoon. But and he's obviously very anti-bushwhacker as well. But saying that a lot of times the people who are for that will say, well, it's 10 races here, but it's not that many. It's still the minority of the schedule, not too many races that you have to worry about. But his point was, maybe Kyle Busch does 10 races, and then maybe Joey Logano does another 10 races, and then Kyle Larson does another 10 races, and then Noah Gragson does another 10 races, and you can just pick whatever Cup drivers you like, and they spread it all out. And maybe they don't have the restrictions in September and October. If we change the playoff format, maybe they'll be allowed to do those races. If the format's different, who knows what's going to happen there. So then you end up having 1 or 2 Cup drivers in every race anyway. At that point, I almost kind of feel like you might as well not have the restrictions at all, because what are you really achieving if you've got somebody in every race?
The good news is the Hendrick Motorsport 17 is full-time Corey Days, so at least that one is not one that you can take.
But will they start a second car?
Yes.
Or an all-star car?
Yeah. And how many of these Cup drivers are going to be wanting to be in both the trucks and the auto parts when we go to the airbase for the American race? Yeah. They're going to be wanting to be there all the time. And how many are going to want to do the truck race at St. Petersburg?
Well, Jimmy Johnson wants to do all of them in San Diego, of course, because it's near his home base.
Yeah, we'll still wait and see. I'm not entirely convinced yet, because I think we went through this at Chicago. There was a restriction on, and I think a couple other places like the Daytona Road Course, if I recall correctly, for some newer tracks over the last couple of years, they've made a rule where you can only do one of the 3 series. So we'll wait and see what happens there. Obviously, a lot to still play out in that regard. But once again here, we'll go to the chat room here. First, great to see Alex, an old friend of the show. Thank you so much. I'm kind of buying into the theory that it could help driver quality in Xfinity and truck. I'm less mad about it compared to how I would have been a few years ago. Yeah, I do think there are pros and cons to both of that. And I think you've especially seen it in the truck series over the years. I think, some of the veterans of that series, and you probably know who I'm talking about, haven't lived up to their expectations in terms of being leaders of young drivers and mentors for the young drivers coming up through the ranks, over the last few years. And sometimes you could say having a Cup driver in the field maybe teaches them that racecraft a little bit, but at the same time, I don't necessarily know, but you look at some of the shenanigans that have gone on, and do you really think if you had Kyle Busch or Denny Hamlin or Ross Chastain in the field over the last 2 or 3 years, you think the shenanigans would be any less frequent? If anything, I think maybe knowing those drivers' personalities behind the wheel, maybe it would have even aggravated that a little bit more. But we'll wait and see. Obviously, who knows what's going to play out. I see Matthew in our private chat here suggesting Ross is going to run 54 to 56 races next year. He's probably going to be the one that will take advantage of it the most. I know he still has a great relationship with Al Neese and some of the other smaller budget Xfinity teams. But
more than me on the NASCAR circuit next year.
Yeah, there you go.
I think I'm down to like 40.
Yeah, Denver says the O'Reilly Series, hate that name. Yeah, it is going to get take some getting used to, I think. Needs some star power to have young upcoming stars learn off of like SVG, Connor Zillich, great for the road course programs. Yeah, I'm sure. And again, there's always been exceptions for drivers like Zillich, and I guess SVG would technically fall into that as well. I think if you have less than 3 years experience, that the limitations don't apply. We've seen Ty Gibbs, I think, do 7 or 8 over the last couple of years, even though he's full-time Cup now, but he's got less than 3 years experience, so he can get beyond the 5, but others are limited to. So again, much like the playoff debate, going to be a never-ending debate for the rest of the time, I think. But again, if you've watched this show long enough, you know where Josh lands, and let's just take you back to his reaction to all of those moments from a couple of years ago. Take a look at this.
Roll it.
Okay, so I've been told that our wonderful friend Ben Schneider has done a compilation video of me, but this is off air. So we've just finished the Grid live show on the Encore on it's now the 1st of August for me. It's the 31st of July over there. But Brandon, what is this?
This essentially is a masterpiece that deserves to be in the Met Gallery. And is a compilation of all the times in the past year or so that you have complained or raged about bushwhackers, and now I bid you to take a look.
Oh, let's hit play.
But I did put together some clips, his best moments reacting.
Oh God!
But also other drivers who are competing in the lower division. So if you're new to the program, if you're new to the show, you want to know how Josh feels about bushwhacking, as it's so called, have a look for yourselves.
Is this less than an hour? I think it's about time we ban them outright. This is ridiculous. There's a natural ladder, and you're messing with the ladder. It's just ridiculous. You don't go back. Oh, it makes me cringe thinking about it. It keeps happening. Next, you'll go Arca. I'm waiting for the weekend where somebody tries all 4 races just to spite me, because it's ridiculous. Is that Scott Bush again?
Yes, it is.
He didn't take the win, but he was in the race. He did take 4th. Still, was going for a Triple Crown this weekend or weekend sweep.
Wasn't there for that one.
I'm not the mic off the lead.
Getting Xfinity or, of course, the Cup race. And I think Josh is just going to walk up and sit here. Yeah, what are we now? 3 races in, I guess?
I wasn't there for that either.
So,
I don't even remember what that was about.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're looking over the pond.
Josh Friend is doing right here with the.
What are you doing, Josh?
Oh, nothing. I'm just going to board the next flight to America. Where's the next race, by the way, so I can just go and scout out exactly how to stop people, getting into NASCAR. Yes, I was just snipers. Yeah, he's hiding all the talent,
Kyle Busch and Ross Chastain are both expected to be in that truck race.
I am deeply shocked. I cannot believe that this keeps happening. I keep asking, please do not do this. I have asked for the past 2 years, why do we have Cup 2 drivers going to the leagues that they don't need to be in? I love it. Right. That's me, right? That's right. Same problems. Stop it right now as well. And hopefully one day they'll listen to me.
Ben, this has been the greatest saga to witness. And I'm glad I've been here for the majority of it. It's just been really fun to see one man have so much trouble over bushwhacking. And, we all feel the same way too. But I think Grid Network is really lucky to have a character like Josh Burch, who is not afraid to just be himself. And we see that almost weekly here on Grid Network, and we're all the better for it. That was great. I'm glad you kept that from me. I'm glad that was a surprise. because I really enjoyed it.
Well, I'll tell you.
I literally, what on earth was that? Oh my god, that's just a confirmation of how crazy I am as well. I'm probably going to get sectioned now because of all that. That'll be shown to one person as well. Oh my god! I'll tell you what, I've had a confirmation made. I can retire happy now. I've had a best of moments as well. That is amazing. Well, Brandon, that was fun watching it. Thank you very much for telling me about it. And Ben, that was brilliant. I can't stop. That was brilliant. Right. Yeah.
Like the whole binocular thing, it felt like it came straight out of like Monty Python or something.
It was the leather gloves.
Yeah. You look like a British general or something looking over. Like, oh, what's going on over there?
I am the very model of a modern major general.
Never gets old. And if we were recording ourselves now, it'd be a reaction of the reaction of the reaction.
There you go.
Which,
Meta. Very meta.
Oh. Hey, Mike.
Yes.
Hey, Michael.
Well,
Michael!
I saw it and I thought, well, I wonder if I can find it in time. And I managed to. So there you are. It feels like it's the last day. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Josh, we
You did hear about the downsizing, right?
It's a virtual background. Yeah, we've lost the budget.
All right, let's catch up on the chat here real quick before we let Josh go. Alex adding, in reality, it's probably just sponsors. Yeah, and again, there's the economic part of that as well. Wanting cup guys and teams begging NASCAR of a lawsuit likely helps the teams get a few more things right now. Yeah, still, of course, a lot to play out this offseason. There'll be no shortage of news coming out of that. Adam enjoying the compilation there. And look who's here. Look who else is here. Our friend Casey Campbell.
What?
Casey, thank you so much.
Hey, man.
For stopping by. Good to see you again. Matthew Owens as well. You all look so young, man. It's only been 2 years.
It's not that long ago.
That much over the last.
Get out of town.
Although I must admit, Ben, you've lost a lot of weight. You look great, mate. You look fantastic. Whereas me, I've put the pounds on, so I need to get in the gym. You look great, mate.
My freshman 15 came after I graduated college instead of high school because I continued running through college, and then I enjoyed my retirement for a little bit and put on about 15 pounds. And then I came back to my alma mater to take a job in the library, started hanging out with the cross country team again, and I guess now I'm back to where I was.
You're great.
That, but appreciate
Stunning.
that.
I need to get into this.
Yeah. Denver saying, Ben, I would like to see you commentate with JB for the Austin Supercars debut, man. I don't know. I've tried to pick up Supercars a little bit over the last couple of years. And obviously SVG coming over here and some of the other guys that, Cam Waters, Will Brown, and others has certainly helped that. But yeah, man, I don't know, Josh. I know I've done some stuff with Matthew, but I guess you and I have to. We certainly will be strangers over the next several years here. We still got to stay in touch and stay connected. I have no doubt.
Yeah.
We'll be, working together again in the not too distant future here. But
I'm just trying to work out when that final is. Oh, end of November. I'm up for it if you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'll certainly I'll be in touch, man. And like I said, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. And I mean that. And I know I've told you this multiple times before, but the show's kind of taken on its own identity over the last couple of years. And obviously you have had tremendous success on your own channel, and you're going to keep killing it over there and doing what you're doing so well. But this show would not have been as successful at the start as it was if you had not been a part of that. So we are forever grateful for your insight and your coverage and your hot takes on Xfinity trucks and ARCA and the Cup drivers that partake in those events. And we are certainly going to miss that as the show comes to an end here. But we are so grateful for your contributions to the Encore show and wish you nothing but the best in the future.
Boys, it's been a pleasure. It really has. And you've made this show your own. And it is absolutely a pleasure to tune in and watch week in, week out. I know we're going to work together in the future. I know you're not disappearing, but fantastic on the show. Fantastic working with you on the show. And I think it's only fitting that I leave by taking the mic off and dropping it. See you around, guys.
Thanks, mate.
All right. Thank you, Josh, and we will be in touch soon. All right. Well, on that note, Brandon, one final little bit of bushwhacking rants from Josh there. I guess let's have one final anti-eulogy, so should we say, for this playoff format, which we are 99.9% repeating sure that is going to change in some capacity this offseason. We don't know what that is yet. We're hearing rumors that it may just be an expanded final round from 1 race to 4. The 10-race chase has been floated out there as well. Who would have thought the full season format, maybe not a return to Latford, but a full season 36-race tally of the points was back on the table. But we're hearing that all of those things are a possibility here, and it'll be very interesting to see sometime in the next couple of months. I guess we will get that news and have a reaction to it. But I did want to ask you, because I've seen the clip circulating. I think NASCAR Man retweeted it this week, and I wish I had seen it and been reminded of it before last week's show. And by the way, I'm so grateful that we are doing this show tonight, because can you imagine, with everything we had to talk about the last show, going over 2 hours, if we tried to squeeze in our final
and also the finale? Yes, no, impossible.
Been a 3.5, maybe even 4 hour show. Who knows? And we still didn't even get to everything we wanted to, which is why we're following up again tonight. But have you seen the comparison that NBC used? And keep in mind, this is 2004, and they say going from the Winston Cup era to a chase from a NASCAR Nextel Cup is kind of like going from vinyl to CD. Where are we now in 2025? You have the last couple of years, 23, 24, for the first time in a very long time, technology has continued to change and evolve, but certain things start coming back into style. And, well, wouldn't you know, vinyl is outselling CDs.
Whoa.
Who would have thought it?
Seems like people revert back to what they remember, or, you know, they like going back to nostalgic things. Is that what I'm picking up here, Ben?
Man, I guess so.
Nostalgia sells, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what does that say? If that's the analogy that we're using, you know, people enjoyed CDs for a while. They were the new cool thing, but there's just something about the old technology, man, that keeps people coming back. Sometimes going backwards in time doesn't mean you're taking the sport backwards. Is it maybe time to consider going back to a full season points format like the overwhelming majority of motorsports series all around the world use?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it was a good idea at the time for NBC to do something like that, because, I mean, to have that sort of segment, because, I mean, let's be real, CDs were booming in 2004. And so it just made sense to, you know, to promote the new format that just came out, which had its positive sides, but it also showed the wear and tear of, hey, this is more of a regression than it is going to something a little more pure, or, you know, telling of who your champion is. But I will go back to, we cannot decide our champion by a blown tire and an overtime restart. Yep. Just horrific. That's not the way these things can end. And, you know, one good finish, or, you know, one good finish to a season can't make you go, see, look, it's working. See the format working? Like, not quite so.
Friday night.
Yeah,
Corey Heim, right?
Yeah,
Everybody
you did.
Saying, hey, you got your deserving champion who was supposed to win, and you got the thrilling 7-wide pass. It doesn't happen if there's no playoff format.
But it shouldn't be a sigh of. We shouldn't have to have a sigh of relief. We should have a, yes, there it is. There's your champion. It was no, he almost didn't take it. It was almost near disaster. And I don't know. We've talked about these things ad nauseum, but it's one last hurrah on it. Yeah. And yes, the Cup Series champion did score the most points, did earn the most points in this system. Yes, he did in this particular year. But you can go back to 2024 and find the exact opposite of what should be happening, where the lowest place finish, you know, scoring finisher in the standings in history ends up taking the title. All legitimate champions, but man, is it not the right way to do it. And it's not that the Latver system is not perfect. We're not saying go back to that, but your video was spot on, Ben, about this. Looking at the polls that were done on X, and But look, you even going back through the history of these polls with Gluck and I think Toby Christie, right?
Yeah, well, Toby Christie ran the one now that's
his current one. Yeah, and we've seen those numbers. It's not like a little sample size either. And I was thinking about this today. It's not a little sample size. It's like over 10,000. It's and not to be a meme, but it's over 9,000. It's over 10,000. Yeah. It's a great sample size. And also another thing, Ben, it's the demographic that's on X, formerly known as Twitter. Is that not the demographic that NASCAR is searching after? Is that not the one?
I'd imagine it's a younger demo than if you go over to Facebook or go, to the TV ratings or whatever.
Yeah, is that not the demographic that you've been changing your format in order to pander towards? It's not working out. I mean, take a look at the NASCAR Cup Series championship stage this championship weekend, and look at that stage, and then look at the crowd of people standing around. It doesn't. Sydney Sweeney up there, whatever her name is, and all that. It doesn't match the crowd, frankly, that's watching there in person. And it just doesn't make sense. Why you see who your fan base is. Why would you try to pander towards something that it's not? And you've had long enough to figure it out. You've had over 10 years of this experiment, or up to 15 now, of this experiment of trying to reach towards that fan base that you think exists. That's not there.
And I just can't believe, talking about what happened the next night on Saturday. And again, just going back to Brock's stream earlier. It is bad enough that Connor Zilisch didn't win the Drivers' Championship. It's even worse in my mind, considering what Kyle Larson did in that 88 car and Parker Kligerman did in that 88 car as well. The 88 team, it's just as egregious that they're not the owners' champions, all because he only had a third place car. What a tragedy. He only got a podium finish in the last race, but he didn't shine when the lights were the brightest, Brandon. I guess that's why he's not the champion this year.
We've got a bright light problem in auto racing in America. Well, in the stock car realm in America, which is supposed to be the pinnacle and deciding the true champion, which it's a little corrupt right now.
And we also have an overtime problem. That's why I'm glad Alex is in the chat here as well, because I know he was saying this on the Gay Racing podcast this week too. Overtime, I'm not going to go as far as he did to say it's worse than any playoff format NASCAR's come up with, but I will say it's just as responsible for the tragedy that we got on Sunday.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen if there's no overtime, then the race just ends. And Denny Hamlin, after making that move to win the race and the championship, what should have been winning the race and the championship, the race just ends. I think we would have felt fulfilled. I think we would have felt like we did. I was born in 1999, but how the majority of fans felt in 1998 when Dale Earnhardt finally won the Daytona 500. This would have been in Denny Hamlin's 20th, ironically enough, full-time year in the Cup Series. How fitting would that have been? Unfortunately,
a positive.
Denny Hamlin fans will never know.
Yeah, a positive for those that are pro Game 7 winner take all format the way it is now, which is apparently 3% on that poll, which I don't know where you are at 3.2. I don't know where you are anymore. You sound like the minority now, but to their credit, like I forgot where I was going with that. That's par for the course for this show. All the times that I forgot where I was going. Well, yeah, no, I got it. Okay. So yeah, if you took away overtime, that would solve a lot of the problems. You could keep the format you have now, and if you took overtime away, it would solve a lot of the issues that we've been having. To their credit.
Well, Matthew Owens says here, Connor had the lead with 30 to go. All he had to do was hold the lead. I don't know, man. All he had to do was everything that he did all year, the most dominant season we've ever seen, 18 straight
10 wins.
10 wins. It leads every statistical. I don't know. I mean, I get it. It's the system that we have. He had the opportunity, but I don't think Jesse Love should have had the same opportunity at that point in the year based on how their seasons have done. Something against Jesse Love. He did what he had to do with the system he was given. But I think there's a reason why you've seen so much of an outcry this year, and reason why the system's going to be changing.
You should not see champions have to feel like they have to apologize for taking the championship.
Yes.
Well, yeah. That's unnatural. That doesn't happen anywhere else.
Yeah. Well, and again, and Alex talking about this on his show last week as well. Like the idea that we can come away from the discussion saying, oh, Kyle Larson, yeah, he won the championship, but he's got to be a little bit better next year in order to defend it. Well, in what world should we be having that conversation about our champions, right? And Alex adding here, Denny had a 3-second lead with 3 to go and lost because of tire issue that was present all race long. So there's that part of it too. I'm going to catch up on the chat here, and then we're going to bring Matthew Breault in as we continue the final episode of Grid Encore here tonight. I want to say hi to Casey again. Casey, thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for your contributions to this show.
Thank you so much, Casey. Yeah,
forever grateful to be part of this show, and wish you both the best of luck in wherever you land. And same to you, brother, as well. We appreciate that. Alex saying here, the NBC CD vinyl clip is hilarious. It certainly is. I think in hindsight, especially 21 years later. And Crystal adding as well, most people argue vinyl is better quality than CD, much like a 36 race season, better quality than a chase. And I see Tanner in our private chat, I believe, dropped a really good line here. Let's see. Compared to a record. No, that's not the one. Where was it? There was something. Okay, here we go. Unfortunately, in compacting the disc, it impacted the quality. I like that.
Right. And as far as vinyl goes, like, it can sound as good as you're willing to pay for what plays it. That's how that goes. Yeah.
There you go. Well, you know what? That's the perfect segue, actually. I was going to save this as we were signing off with Matthew here, but I think I'll surprise him at the start now. Let's bring in Matthew Breault. Matthew, good to see you, my man.
Matthew.
How's it going tonight?
Oh, we're muted. There you go.
See, why wouldn't I do that on the final? No, hanging in there laughing my butt off at the Josh reactions, which worries me to where we're heading with stuff. But yeah, that's pleasure to be here, guys. Very happy. I was looking back through stuff too. I've been on shows with you guys 2-3 years ago too, and oh my gosh, have we all changed drastically. I personally look like I've gone through 4 quarter life crises. My head either gets big. It's hilarious. I was giggling up. I'm glad I was muted because you guys would have heard me. I look so different in every single clip that Ben has ever clipped on this show. So I'm happy that this is the final one with all 3 of us, at least for the meantime. So
yeah,
pleasure to be here. Thank you guys for having me. Excited but sad at the same time.
Well, the camera changes every time we go live, so you can't predict what it's going to look like.
All right. Well, Matt, again, this is the most mortifying part of the show for me tonight here. But I guess the CD vinyl thing is another hint. I got a surprise compilation for you, Matthew. And I think you're not even in any of these clips. I just think that you're going to appreciate references that I've made. I didn't realize how many times I've made references to this particular person on this show this year. But again, this is going to be slightly embarrassing for me as we roll this tape here. Let's watch it. Speaking of Taylor Swift and pop stars, I did see a video surfaced from 2 years ago. Tate McRae apparently predicted the final score, 40-22. She was just off by 2 years because I think she was saying that for the last time the Eagles and Chiefs met in the Super Bowl. But that was an interesting.
She predicted it like 2 years ago.
She predicted it 2 years ago, I think, for the game 2 years ago. But obviously
for that game, I thought she was like after that game. She's like, revenge is coming 2 years from now.
She got the score right, but it was just it was 2 years off. So
like that would be wild.
Just be patient. Don't get too greedy.
Nice. Appreciate that.
That was really stretching.
Yeah. That might be more of a Tate McRae reference than a game show reference in 2025. But
I don't know who that is.
Well, we'll leave it. All right, we'll leave it there. I would like to thank Pat Mahomes for stat padding in the Super Bowl because it made Tate McRae's score of 40-22 prediction actually come true instead of 40-6. But that's the real score before the Eagles pulled their starters. Let the record book show that here. I quoted and said, like, yeah, that is what I want. We like Morgan Wallen and Tate McRae there. That's what I want, right? Like,
I still don't know who Tate McRae is, for the record.
Okay, so I was watching the NHL. I had the NHL All-Star Game on, just kind of like his background noise in February 2024, and like I knew who Tate McRae was at this point. Like it's not like I hadn't heard of her or anything, but watched her performance and was like, man, I kind of hate how much I enjoyed that. Like she's just such a talented singer and dancer and pop star, and got my Spotify Wrapped come out in 9 months and didn't realize how much I had listened to her music and all of her songs over that summer, and was again kind of embarrassed. I didn't put my Spotify Wrapped on my story like you're, I guess, supposed to in this day and age. But again, Matthew, I know you and I have gone back and forth a couple of times. Thought you might appreciate that because again, I didn't realize these are just the ones I remember. Maybe there's another one in there that I have forgotten. But yeah, I snuck, I guess, 4 references to Tate McRae into the show this year. So there you go.
Oh, yeah, it's funny. I was giggling the whole time because as soon as I saw that first clip, I knew exactly where we were going. Alex said, "Yeah, Ben is quite the big Tate McRae guy," and it's funny because I will post my music on my. I have Apple Music, so I guess it's my replay,
Sure.
and I talked to you because I guess when Instagram has that new feature where it will tell you when your friends or followers like stuff, and every time I'm in Tate McRae videos from my algorithm, whether it's from my girlfriend or apparently from you too, it pops up and it always has your head there saying you liked it. And it's funny, but same thing with me. I had a year, I think Ariana Grande, One Direction, even like musical things like the Wicked soundtrack was in my top 5. So my music taste is not the average taste of, I guess, stereotypically of what you would think I'd listen to. But it's so funny to just look back, and then obviously I've messaged you a lot. I think we talk on Instagram as much about Tate McRae music and stuff like that as we do racing stuff. So it's great we all have passions, but I didn't realize you referenced her quite a lot in your story or in these shows, but that was very funny to watch.
Yeah, it's all coming back to me now as much as you've said Tate McRae.
Yes, and the deluxe album, So Close to What, out next Friday, I believe, the 21st. That announcement just dropped as she closed out her Miss Possessive tour. So there you go. But enough of that. Let's get into some memories here and some racing discussion, Matthew, because the first thing I want to ask you actually is, have we, like you said, we've been working together for the last, I think a little more than 3 years now. And I still remember sitting in church, service was about to start. It was, I think probably 10:20. I think it was the Italian Grand Prix, either must've been 2022 at this point. And I think the race ended under the safety car. And remember, you were not happy about that. And I know you've kind of grown up as a NASCAR guy and picked up all the different series that the grid ranking covers over the years. But I'm curious whether it's been influenced by me hanging out with me or watching my videos or being on the same shows as me or just following these series over the last 3 years. Have your thoughts and opinions on issues such as playoffs and stage racing and overtime, have they changed or evolved over the last few years here since you started at Grid Network?
1000%. And I'm happy you don't have a clip compilation showing how different I am in 25 as I was in 22 and 3 and 4. And yeah, funny, I was actually looking up our text ban. August 19th, 2022 is the first time you and I communicated. So well over 3 years ago. It's time flies, like holy heck. But yeah, I would say being a part of Grid Network's been amazing for me, not only to be with you two, but even the people backstage as well. Just everyone we've seen come and go these last 3 years. You pick up so much knowledge from everyone. Like we learned SQ with supercars, for example. A lot of the new NASCAR fans in 23, 24 didn't know who he was, but he was already a grid ranking champion.
Right.
So was. And I like to thank Joe for that as well, to be able to allow us all to put our heads together and learn about this. But yeah, when I was newer to Formula One back in like 22, 21, I would really only watch NASCAR, but now I try to pay attention as much as I could. But a lot of things you get mad about, but you guys are like, oh, this is just an average race day. I'm like, what do you mean an average race day? That happens. So you learn over time. But yeah, the playoffs, I think what put me over the edge for NASCAR was Logano winning last year, mainly because Brandon had mentioned he was like 7. He wouldn't have, if there was no win and you're in, if it was just like the top 16 in the regular season, Logano wouldn't have even made the playoffs, and he managed to win the championship because he shined the brightest when the lights were on him, right?
In a quintuple overtime restart at Nashville Superspeedway.
Yeah. I don't know
happen.
What that car had. There was extra somewhere in that car. That was incredible fuel saving by him, though. But yeah, it's my playoffs. I think that put me over the edge with NASCAR, and then this year. Corey Heim you probably wouldn't see me if Corey Heim didn't win that title. I think I would have been that frustrated. It sucks for Connor Zilic. And then Hamlin, too, like Brandon had mentioned. It's NASCAR, I believe. I think, Ben, you had mentioned this in one of your rants with Tanner, Joe, and myself on the last, I think it was the championship post race. NASCAR is the only sport that can crown a deserving champion, but the way it happened, it makes you feel like they didn't deserve it. Because like Kyle Larson was without a doubt most points scored all year, but Denny Hamlin put belt to butt in that final race, and then all of a sudden someone's tire goes down, like Alex had mentioned in the chat, and then it's all over from there. So it's like one of those things like, yeah, Larson scored the most points. If this was any other system, yeah, we would all be celebrating Kyle Larson was a deserving champion. But because he won it in the manner that he did, and a system that only really cares really about that final race, it put a bad taste in, I think, everyone's mouth, regardless, I think, if you were a Larson fan or not. So my opinions definitely have changed. And I think if you told me a few years ago, like if you told me 2022 when Logano won, or even when Blaney won in 23, then I would be like very opposed to it, and I would start selling T-shirts that says keep playoffs out of racing. I would have been like, you're silly, because I wouldn't have believed it. But I appreciate you guys for allowing me to consume more knowledge to see how silly this stuff is. Especially, I hope IndyCar doesn't do it. I know we haven't touched on that. Formula One has a system that is clearly doing pretty well right now. A very fun battle to the end. And then I think the Supercars fans, if Denver's still in the chat room, I don't know how he's going to feel about this, about Supercars playoffs if Brock Feeney or Will Brown does not win the title. So that's my long rant for that. So it's been a chaotic couple of years, I might add.
You got to have villains. What can I say?
Yeah,
we love you, Matthew.
Yeah, well, I
Owens
think,
and Bro.
I don't remember if he quoted something I said or quoted. Well, I think it was Dalton Hopkins that tweeted originally the fact that like today felt like if Dale Earnhardt had lost the 1998 Daytona 500.
I think that was Dalton. That was Dalton. I think.
Right. Yeah, but Matthew quoted something or replied to one of my tweets and said, would we feel that way about Dale Earnhardt, or do we feel that way about Bobby Labonte not winning the 1998 Daytona 500 and finishing second because there was no overtime? I don't know how much of a concept overtime would have been in 1998, how much fans were begging for a system like that, but I don't know, man. But it's right there in the race name. 500. The 500 is not arbitrary. 500 what? 500 miles. Kyle Busch won the Daytona 500 in 2023. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. won the Daytona 530, but he gets the Harley J. Earl Trophy because NASCAR overtime is a thing there. And Denver is still in the chat here. Brett and Brandon, as Supercars fans learning NASCAR, I'm glad. Or as a Supercars fan, I guess, learning NASCAR, I'm glad watching you learning NASCAR. By the way, you talk about the Cup Series. Hate that name series. I guess that's what we're calling it now. The Hate That Name series, O'Reilly.
The Nopes. It's a Nope opera. Denver, it's a NOAPS Nope opera.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, and let's see. Back to the chat here. Adam says if Brock Feeney or Will Brown doesn't win the Supercars title, it'll be a shame. Yeah, I mean, I don't follow Supercars as closely here, but I know there was certainly. I think you guys are talking about it in the private chat here. We almost had a rookie win the Bathurst 1000, and that would have turned the new system completely upside down. And go back to Joey Logano last year. He was out of the championship fight. The only reason he got back in was because Alex Bowman got disqualified. I don't know if we ever found out if that piece that fell off his car was the reason that the car was underweight or not, but I know people were going crazy looking back at the onboard footage and everything. But man, that's really my problem with all of this. Is like if we can pinpoint certain moments like that, and drivers with such average finishes and such seasons compared to others that have been more consistent and more dominant throughout, and it's all about what you want in your champions, I guess, man. You want your champions to be the guys that. Well, I can't even say won the right races at the right time because Kyle Larson didn't win on Sunday. He finished third, right? So do you want the guys who shine when the lights are the brightest, or do you want a championship that is more indicative of full season success? And I guess that's the question that NASCAR is going to have to be asking themselves as we enter this offseason here. A very pivotal moment, I think, in our sports history. As
Kamikaze Games said, we're at the precipice of greatness or calamity. What do you want? Do you want entertainment or do you want legitimacy? It's as we've seen, it's really tough to have a big mix of both. But I think as we've said before, like having legitimacy over a long period of time can be entertaining. It's just not going to be every year. Not as extreme every year.
All right. Well, Matthew, I don't know if you have any other memories you want to share before we let you go tonight, but just going back and watching some older clips, getting ready for tonight's show throughout the last week. I don't know if you remember, probably still in the first 2 or 3 months you would have been here, the fall Texas race in 2022. We were talking about what a disaster that was and how I think it probably only got 11 or 12% on the Gluck poll, and hearing the line. And again, it's ironic given what happened this week, but Denny Hamlin tweeting that they missed the incident that he was involved in with William Byron and how it played on the screen 5 times. And all the people at home watching this, you guys know what screen Denny Hamlin was talking about that day. You guys remember, right? Big Hoss? You know what Big Hoss is? The Jumbotron at Texas Motor Speedway?
Oh, yes. The big Hoss. Yeah.
Did you know Big Hoss set the world record for the largest TV screen in the world? And that's the screen that it played on 5 times. And they still somehow missed that incident. That was a moment that we were on the air together for, Matthew. I don't know if you have any memory of that, but that's probably one of my first favorite moments getting to share the airwaves with you. And just, again, the motto I keep coming back to is you got to laugh to keep yourself from crying. And I've done quite a bit of that over these last few years here on this show. But I guess before we let you go, man, what are some of your favorite memories from, I guess, not just this show, but the wrap-up shows that we've been a part of and our time together here on this team?
They're all really fun. I mean, like I said, I was looking in the back and just watching my face morph every episode. Really hilarious to me. I think personally with you, Ben, is all our Baja Blast jokes. I don't have any on me. I have my Soda Stream. I have an orange flavor in today.
I'll crack it open for you here. It's okay.
But yeah, those were the fun moments, and just being able to bounce off each other. And regardless what it was, like some of the earlier days, whether it was talking about, I know we mentioned, I believe like Brad Keselowski, like we're talking how Ford needs more development teams. Now it seems like the Xfinity or OPE series, whatever we're calling it, they might not have many at all in the next couple seasons. So we talked like 3 years ago when I think Zane Smith won the title, how if RFK could bring back the Ford truck team, stuff like that. Those were fun discussions. I'm just talking about the playoffs when I think I used to have a different opinion than you on overtime in the playoffs, and now how we've come to pretty much share very similar thoughts on it. Those have been fun memories. Just there's so many to even think about. Like I forgot a lot of them because there's been so many, and I guess I'm aging a little too fast over here. But and then joking in the chat room with you guys about my youthness. You guys were talking about like the 90s. I'm like, I didn't exist yet. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah, but yeah, it's been a real fun time. Just always, even debating with you, Ben, a couple months ago, we're talking about what our ideal like street circuits would look like. That was a really fun segment. I feel like it was one of the first segments I've had where the internet gremlins didn't get me at all, and we were actually able to hold like a 20-minute conversation with no interruptions. That was super fun. And because I've battled a lot of internet connection issues, and Google Chrome is still not my friend, as other people would know if they watch episodes with me. But yeah, it's been a real pleasure for both you and Brandon. It's gonna miss it, honestly. I know I wasn't on the show much, but you guys always welcomed me, and I always was very happy to, I guess, hold out a helping hand, whatever the expression is. Now I'm losing my mind on this end. Maybe I do need a Baja Blast, but yeah, it's been a pleasure. A lot of fun times, a lot of fun talks, rants, everything you name it. So thank you guys again. And unfortunately, this is the last Grid Encore in this format, but I'm very happy to be able to be a part of it with you too.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to get back to me. I don't know if I have enough friends to try this new Baja Blast pie. This is a thing, Matthew Owens, that you've seen popping up. I think Bozy actually tried it out. But they don't sell them in slices, and they're like $20 a piece. So I'm like, I am curious, but am I curious enough to buy the entire thing and risk not liking it enough to eat the whole thing eventually by myself? Because I'm certainly not eating it in one sitting, because that would be too much even for me. But I
think it's like almost 3,000 calories per pie. I have a buddy that works at Taco Bell, and he loves Baja Blast, and he was even like, it's not really the greatest thing, but yeah, like 330 calories per slice. It's like, holy hell. But sorry, but yeah, That's a lot of. I
Show's
mean,
going off the air anyway. Who cares?
my bad. That was
Shut it down. Shut it all down.
about to get
No,
censored
but
on it.
you got to buy it, Ben, for the content at least. Just you got to make the content out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you did the Mountain Dew milk. I mean,
Mountain Dilk.
Mountain
Yeah,
Dilk. Yeah, you did it for the Mountain Dilk.
The
So
Baja Dilk and the Code Red Dilk. We did both of them.
you do a Baja Dilk, and you get you a Baja pie.
There you go. Hey,
Yeah,
we'll figure something out, Ben. Yeah, I do have to try it.
subscriber special. You'll have a Baja
Maybe.
pie and a Baja Dilk.
Yeah. What am I? I don't even know what I'm up to now. What am I up to? 21, close to 2,200, I think. I don't know. I'm gonna have to double check after the show here. But Matthew, again, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and I owe you an apology. I was so fired up on Sunday night. I brought the Keep Playoffs Out of Racing shirt out, and I said you can go to backstreetmerch.com. It's not that. It's Backstretch Merch, I believe, right? And I think you're wearing that shirt right now. So if you want that shirt that I showed off on last Sunday's show, or any of the other designs that Matthew and his team have over there, by all means, go check that out and go show him some support. Because I know, Matt, you told me I was the first one. Has anybody else bought the Keep Playoffs Out of Racing shirt? I've been trying to spread the word about that.
It's funny enough. So I don't sell anything. Obviously, it's honestly a waste of money at this point. But with Backstretch, that is surprisingly my best seller, is to Keep Playoffs Out of Racing. So there have been a couple people, which is awesome. I have to come up with more ideas. You do so many other things, it kind of gets lost, and then you get the bill from the company that charges you for the webpage. You're like, oh crap, I still pay for this. So it's one of those things. I'm gonna have to keep trying to sell shirts. So I really appreciate you guys again. Thank you, Ben, for being a supporter of that. Hopefully anyone, if they're watching, can buy a shirt or just even follow the page. It just makes the numbers look better, because I think I'm still hidden in the algorithms because there's so little followers on those accounts. But yeah, that's what I got. So yeah, thank you guys again. It's been a real pleasure these past 3 years, especially looking at us and some of the old clips too. So until the next time.
Thank you, Matthew. And yeah, there will be next.
Thanks.
I got to get you on my show, and I'm sure I'll be stopping by eventually. Something stupid's going to happen in the sport that I have to not wait a minute to get my thoughts on, and I'm sure I'll be back as making a guest appearance at some point. But we appreciate you stopping by tonight, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Well, let's do another quick open segment here before we move on to our next guest for the evening. Like I said, the NASCAR season's wrapped up. IndyCar's been wrapped up for a long time, but we did have a Formula One Grand Prix yesterday. I guess it's technically now the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Everybody, I think, still calls it the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's still at Interlagos, which should still be the finale, but it's not. We do still have 3 races to go. And we have a very entertaining title fight on our hands with no playoff necessary. Who'd have thought it? It is possible, ladies and gentlemen. So Lando Norris wins. Obviously, that's huge for his championship. And again, who would have thought at this point during the summer that McLaren would seemingly have, I guess we could maybe say, one hand on the championship. I don't know. The way this season's gone, who knows? But it certainly looks like the tide is turned over there. Oscar Piastri looked like he was the number one guy. Now the momentum firmly in Lando Norris's hands, even though he said he doesn't believe in momentum. He's got it all right now, and really critical race victory for his championship hopes. But Max Verstappen, and man, I got to be honest with you guys, and I know I've said some things about Max on this show and on other shows that have not been super flattering. I still do not agree with some of his actions on track and some of his aggressive driving maneuvers that I think he's kind of been let off the hook, hasn't been penalized harshly enough for some of those in the past, but I cannot deny that he is perhaps the most talented driver in the world right now. There's always going to be a little bit of debate, despite what we try to do here on the grid ranking. It is very difficult to compare across different disciplines, but from a pit lane start to what I still think maybe could have been a race victory if he had been able to make the medium tires stretch. Red Bull did call him into the pits and put him on a fresh set of softs, and he got back up to third, nearly got to second. Kimi Antonelli did a great job, certainly the best drive of his young career so far, holding him off and taking second in that Mercedes. But It is now a 49-point gap to Lando Norris with 83 points left to race for. Anybody else, Brandon, I think would be toast. And yet, despite the fact that with 83 points left, if Lando goes out and wins Las Vegas and Max finishes third again, that would be 59 points. 25 times 2 is 50, plus 8 for sprint and Qatar is 58. He'd be mathematically eliminated. Despite the fact that that's a possibility heading into the next race, I am still not ready to count him out of a championship fight.
Neither am I, Ben. We've seen too much from Max Verstappen to count him out with this much left to go and this many points left on the table. With the podium there with Brazil, there's still a lot left to go, and Lando Norris has been exceptional this year, and it's going to be again. It's refreshing that we get this title fight to the end in a naturally occurring way. Upset with YouTube TV, and I know you are too, because that was our way of seeing it. I know you bit the bullet for F1 TV to just kind of see the rest of it. We're set here for Apple TV for 2026. As much as we cracked about it on this show a couple of weeks ago, I see the Baja is engaged, so there might be something coming.
I got to be careful that I don't unplug my mic here. Everything's kind of set up, but
okay.
I'll angle my. That
we're getting a mobile
an antenna that I just bought
to
be able to get all the major networks over the air.
What a concept!
Yes.
Wow.
You can still do that.
I forgot.
2025.
Yeah.
But man, that's a one-time payment. I don't even know if it was $20, and it was free for me because I had enough Amazon Visa credit card rewards points through my Prime membership. Pay for that one time, and this is the beautiful thing, man. So Sling TV offers almost as many cable channels as YouTube TV does. It's a little bit cheaper, and the reason it's a little bit cheaper, even with the sports add-on, is they have much more limited local programming. The local affiliates that they have access to varies area to area. Well, I set that antenna up just yesterday. I'm getting all the major networks, I guess the big five, if you want to throw the CW in there. CW comes in fine, CBS, Fox, ABC, which is big with Disney right now and YouTube TV's battle. The one that I'm having, and it's not even that bad, all things considered, but it does kind of go in and out a little bit, is NBC. The one local affiliate that Boston residents have access to through Sling is NBC. So I think I have found
complete
solution, yes,
there you go,
to this YouTube TV dispute, because it was the trigger that I needed, quite honestly. And they're saying they're going to offer a $20 credit. Man, they're worth $1 trillion. Google's worth $1 trillion.
It's nothing to them.
Yeah. I mean, and I hear they're losing millions per day every day that this dispute goes on. We got a Monday Night Football game that's probably just starting right now. My Philadelphia Eagles, Green Bay Packers. Man, like I said, it was just the trigger that I needed to just drop that. And I pay for 1 month of F1 TV. That'll get me through the rest of the season, no matter what else happens. But yeah, man, like I said, I cannot wait for them all to combine and for one of them to purchase absolutely all of them. And then they launch a new app called Cable Plus. What do you think of that?
Cable Plus, yep. Gonna go back to square one.
So close to inventing the wheel here. All right. What does Matthew say here? Extra points for sprint weekends. Only the top 10 get points. DRS, cars starting from pit lane. Sounds like a garbage, fluky system to me. But the full season, my friend. It's all over the full season. I will give you sprint weekends. I've never been a fan of the sprint race.
Yeah, not a fan.
I do not like that. I don't have a problem. I mean, it used to only be the top 6, right? Maybe even less before then. I mean, F1 was founded on that, scoring points should be a reward here. I think, the top 10, I don't have a problem with that. I wouldn't mind seeing it go as low as 11th, maybe, with Cadillac joining if they want to tweak the system a little bit. If you're in the top half of the field, you get a point. But man, I think there's a bigger difference between 13th and 20th in a NASCAR race than there is in a Formula One race. And I think, again, just it's kind of hard to compare apples and oranges there. But I don't think it's a fluky system. I will push back on that there. And good to see Alex still in the chat here. Appreciate you, man. It's me, my antenna, and DD12 against the world. Yeah. again, it is so exhausting and so frustrating that this is where we are now with this landscape, trying to figure out what is available where. And it used to just be so easy. You turn on your remote, go to your TV guide, and more and more of us
TV guide. What a thing! Wow.
Yeah, yeah, for real. All right, one more. Denver here. We got F1 on paywall in Australia. Might be surprised you get more benefits on paywall than you think. I don't think what Apple TV is doing. Maybe dropped a word in there, but you will get more content. Well, yeah. I mean, I'll say this selfishly. I'm excited for next year.
Yeah.
I've been an
more
Apple
bang
TV
for your buck
for a while, and I have confidence that they will do a good job. But I think looking at it for the benefit of the average viewer,
in America, anyway.
Yeah. I don't think you're pulling in 1.5 million people for the British Grand Prix next year. I'll just put it that way.
I'd love to be surprised. I mean, I'd love for it to work.
Yes,
and they might.
And they did the movie. I mean, I think it's better than like if Peacock were doing this, or if Paramount Plus were doing this here. I think.
Which is coming. The movie is coming free to Apple TV subscribers on December 12th. By the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Or you can see. Do I have it? No, I think it's downstairs. I don't have the steelbook with me, but you can buy it on 4K Blu-ray DVD as well. Physical media for life.
You certainly can, and have it forever.
Yes. All right. Well, he was just on the show here last week, and he was gracious enough to drop by here one more time. I believe he's back. I know he had to step out briefly here, but let's see. It looks like we have Tanner Smith here once again. Tanner, it is so good to see you. Welcome to the Encore finale. How are you?
Just blessed to be here, honestly. Always good to be here on a Motor Monday. Crack open a nice refreshing can of Baja Blast Zero, and just hang out with you fellas. So like I said, just a pleasure to be here. And yeah, I know my appearances have been more new to the program, but hopefully I've still made an impact.
Absolutely have. Yeah, been crucial to these last several months. The GOAT Tanner Smith from Pitbox Press.
Thank you, Alex.
All right.
But yeah, it has been great to be part of this program, especially as someone that used to catch the clips pretty frequently. Kind of going a bit from a spectator to part of the program. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I've definitely had a lot of, time on Motor Mondays logged before ever stepping foot into Grid Network, virtually speaking. And it's just been nothing but a pleasure working with you guys, actually being part of the program. So one thing I would like to do is clarify the earlier comment that you quoted me on. So let me just say ahead of time, folks, I was actually just doing a little bit of a bit. I wasn't even trying to make a comparison to NASCAR, but now that Ben's linked us to it, I actually think it's pretty apt. I was just saying, compared to a record and a 45, they really were a compact disc CD. Unfortunately, in compacting the disc, it impacted the quality. Now think about that just for a second. We took what was, a nice, rich 36 race slow burn experience, and we smashed it into a CD, i.e. the chase format. And, I think that for a little bit it worked. Everybody loved what they got, but I just think that over time, as we progressed into the streaming era and now what I would call the TikTok era of music, I think that we have kind of TikTokified our sport, and we definitely need to bring the vinyls back a little bit. Maybe we need to get the record player out, put the needle down into the groove, and go from there, and just let something play out every now and again, rather than I'm bored of this. Flick, flick, add flick.
Insert Andy, I don't want to play with you anymore. Drops in trash.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh. Hey, you know what? Why not? We still have the clip loaded. I didn't delete it. Let's play this clip one more time from our now Commissioner Steve Phelps from 2 years ago at Phoenix. Never gets old, does it?
And I've heard some things that were people was like, hey, listen, this is gimmicky, and when it's not. It's an incredible playoff system that rewards the best drivers in our sport.
Sounds a little defensive. It sounds a little defensive, Jim.
Well, hold on, Brandon. Let's. I want to go back to Tanner here on this one because I'm thinking back. Well, I don't think it was your first appearance on the show was filling in for Brandon. I think your first appearance with both of us was after Phoenix with the finish in the Almirola controversy, and another quote that we referenced and talked about that day amidst the ongoing lawsuit and everything. In light of what you just said, would you say that maybe, much like Commissioner Adam Silver said about the NBA, they've tried to turn NASCAR into a highlight sport?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about every NASCAR highlight package you see that isn't tethered explicitly to like a close finish, right? It's usually a massive accident. And when did that massive accident usually come into play? Apparently, in the last 21 years of NASCAR Cup Series competition, actually, I believe it'd be 22 because we started overtime at some point in 2004. We have had 178 races end in some form of an overtime finish, which averages out to about 1 in 4.5 races. So 2 in every 9 races, we get overtime. And obviously, we expanded overtime in, I believe, at the start of the 2010 season to be either infinite or 3, and then at some nebulous point,
overtime line.
And then at some point we went to unlimited. Then we had the overtime line for 2017, which never made any sense. Then again, in hindsight, maybe we just didn't like it because it wasn't committing enough to overtime. Like we had that infinite overtime at Indianapolis that year that I think effectively killed it.
Yeah.
Because the track is just so large, it's impossible to get to that point on the track.
And there's no lights.
Oh, well, yeah, it would have ended eventually.
Yeah,
but imagine if it did have lights. God, that would have been nauseating. We would have been going until Jimmy Johnson got back out and blew his motor again.
Yeah. Or until his Hendrick teammate Casey Kane blew his motor, and then he wouldn't have had his great send-off last victory in that 5 car.
Indeed, and now he's rumored to be coming back in a NASCAR Craftsman truck to hopefully continue his dominant 6-race streak that he has, where he's finished first 5 times and second once.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. Obviously, a lot of rumors going on in that colleague camp as to who's going to be in that all-star truck, if you will. But the reason I bring Commissioner Phelps and Commissioner Silver up is in light of those comparisons. I thought we'd throw it back to our first time on the air with all 3 of us here, and again, one of my favorite conversations from the last year. Take a listen. If you guys don't mind, I want to start out here because I just thought this was the most hilarious, ironic quote that I've seen in our sport in a really long time. As you all know, obviously there's a lawsuit and a counter lawsuit now going on between NASCAR and 2311 Racing and Front Row Motorsports as well over the charter agreement. And we got a quote this week, and I want to make sure I get this title right here. This is an article from the Associated Press. If I remember after the show, I'll put a link in the description or a pinned comment or whatever. This is NASCAR attorney Christopher Yates, and I'll start quoting the article verbatim here, went so far as to tell the Associated Press that Curtis Polk, who in addition to being Michael Jordan's business manager, is a co-owner of 2311, along with 3-time Daytona 500 winner Denny Hamlin, does not understand the NASCAR business model. And it goes on, and there's this quote that says, "I don't think Mr. Polk really understands the sport," Yates told the AP. "I think he came into it, and his view is that it should be much more like the NBA or other league sports. But it's not. No motorsport is like that. He's done a lot of things that might work in the NBA or might be okay in the NBA, but are just not appropriate in NASCAR." And of course, I couldn't help but think back to the last 21, 22 years of NASCAR history and certain things that have been introduced into our sport. We decided that when Matt Kenseth clinched the championship by simply taking the green flag at Homestead, despite winning only one race in 2003, that we wanted to spice things up a little bit in the postseason, so to speak, for NASCAR. And so we instituted the chase for the NASCAR Nextel Cup, which has since been renamed the playoffs. We just got done talking about how fans don't like when races end under caution, so we're going to extend the race to give fans a green, white checkered finish, which we have since renamed overtime. We have also, in recent years, instituted stage racing that resembles periods or quarters or dividing the race up into segments. If you want an extreme example of that, we add a fourth stage at the Coca-Cola 600 and literally divide the race up into quarters. And what's coming later this year when Prime and Turner take over the inaugural in-season tournament? Gee, I wonder where they got that idea from. What do all these things have in common, ladies and gentlemen? These are things that the NBA does that, in my view, don't really belong in motorsport, but NASCAR has decided to institute them over the last couple of decades nonetheless. People saying the in-season tournament's the straw that broke the camel's back. The straw that broke the camel's back for me happened years ago. So at this point, have your goofy little $1 million in-season tournament. I don't really care. But you cannot tell me with a straight face, as these very serious legal matters are going on, that Mr. Polk wants the sport to be like the NBA, but we're not interested in being like the NBA, when almost every major decision you've made that has impacted your sport in the last 22 years has been a move that resembles what stick and ball sports leagues like the NBA do, that almost no other serious motorsports series worldwide, coming off of people going through the legal documents. Apparently NASCAR cited an Essentially Sports article in reference 30. I think, was that Matt Weaver, I think, that tweeted that? I just don't know how we're supposed to take NASCAR's side of this lawsuit seriously when that comes out and when a quote like this comes out, when all the evidence suggests that you have been trying to emulate the NBA.
Like, imagine this for a second. 5 years ago, saying that Jeff Gordon, Fox Sports presenter and partial team owner of Hendrick Motorsports, and one of the greatest that's ever raced in the sport, is a member of an illegal cartel. Like, imagine saying that to somebody 5 years ago and seeing what their reaction would be. It would be hysterical. They'd just be crying on the floor. So, yeah, it's definitely pretty rich for NASCAR to be like, but no, you're the one doing antitrust. You're the one doing antitrust, actually, by organizing with the team owners like you've done even before 2311 even got here.
Memories.
And it's only gotten worse for them since then. Like, can you believe that? Like, we've gone this far. What's that been, like 8 months since that clip?
I believe.
And they've continued to dig the hole. Like, I can't believe it. They literally defined the market in their counterclaim and then tried to argue that that was not, in fact, the relevant market. You gotta love it. You gotta love it.
Well, especially with what happened in the closing laps at Phoenix. I mean, you can't write this stuff sometimes, man.
Yeah.
You really can't. It is going to be
about to be revealed, apparently.
It's going to be a very, very interesting offset. I mean, we're hearing stuff come out today, I think, with who? Hendrick and Penske potentially now getting involved in this. It's going to be very interesting, to say the least.
They've got this to settle, and they've got a format to settle. It's going to be a wild holiday season.
What are the odds that they drop that on like Black Friday, which will be late this year? I believe that'll be the last business day before the trial, if I'm not mistaken, because I believe Thanksgiving falls way later this year. So what are the odds that they drop this news literally the business day before the trial starts about the point system?
That would be strategic.
Some would say that this sounds exactly like what they're going to do.
Yeah,
That sounds very NASCAR-esque. By the way, we're something to make the fans happy. Maybe like, by the way, full 36 point season. All right, see you in court. Please don't kill us.
I feel like that would be very on brand, but you're right, Tanner. Thanksgiving is the 27th, which is almost as late as it can be. And then December 1st, I guess, would be the Monday, which, and Alex following up here, day before trial is Sunday of Thanksgiving weekend, because December 1st is a Monday there. Comment as well from from Matthew. NBA games are never over before a 20-point fourth quarter lead can disappear with a team getting hot from three, just like a 3-second lead with 3 laps to go in a NASCAR race. Well,
oh God,
I don't know if it's with can't make up a 20-point lead with 30 seconds to go. I mean, that's basically what happened on Sunday. I feel like and again, it'd be like somebody calls a timeout with 2 minutes to go and the team's up by 10, and then you even the score, or you get them within 1 at least. I guess you start slightly ahead, but you can make. I mean, this is again why I don't think the stick and ball sports comparisons really work here, is because the sport is so radically different. You can make up ground, but you've lost in competition when there's a pause in the action. You can't do that it would be like in baseball. Let's say the Blue Jays had a 10-run lead, or maybe not, maybe that's a little extreme, but if they had even a 3 or 4-run lead, and we just decide before the 9th inning, okay, we're going to give the Dodgers 2 more runs and put them within 1. And now it's just kind of like, I don't even know if that's a fair comparison or not, but that's the whole point. It's a nonsensical comparison to try to make an apples to apples comparison across the sports here. And again, I think that's part of why, you're seeing some of the things GR come out.
It's literally like the Blue Jays had a 10-run lead in they were playing in LA, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Which game are you talking about?
They are up 10 with in the bottom of the 9th, 2 outs, 2 strikes on the batter, and then they call a pitcher's conference and just go, guys, it'd be really sad for Clayton Kershaw to go out like this, not getting a chance to prove himself in extra innings. So we're going to give them 10 runs, and we're going to go to extras. Everybody's happy. We're getting more baseball. That is literally what NASCAR overtime is. Like, oh my God. Like, to borrow from Zach and Alex of the Gay Racing podcast, it is like you've already been getting force-fed nutty bars and oatmeal cream pies and Reese's Fast Breaks, like, all day long in the NASCAR race. And then they're like, oh, now that you're all swollen with all this sugar, we're going to heap and helping on top of all of that and just shovel ice cream down your throat. Unlimited until we decide to throw the white flag and checkered flag right afterward.
It's like, enough.
Enough of the junk. Enough of the sugar. I like meat and vegetables and fruit sometimes too.
over 36 weeks, please.
Yeah. I mean, the sugar,
a steady diet.
Yeah, and the sugar in moderation is double file restarts and possibly playoff points or whatever thing you want to do. I think if you're going to do some form of a chase format, here's an idea. Let's not do a reset at all. How about we collect a certain amount of points extra throughout the season for doing certain things, and then we just add that to everybody's total at the end of the regular season or whatever, and then we go from there. I feel like that could be something, but even still, it's still a gimmick. It's still bad. It is still just taking the Hershey's bottle and squirting it down your throat. Like, can we just have a slice of turkey and maybe a celery stick every now and again? Like, I just want to get back to, like, healthy eating in NASCAR. Let's get back to the essentials. Chicken and rice. Like, please.
And when you get sugar, it's better if it's that organic stuff, the sugar in the raw, not the
cane sugar.
Yeah, not the fine, highly processed
syrup.
Yeah. It's all allegory, but it's all true.
Well, and I said it Sunday night. People talk about Game 7 moments all the time, and what I don't think I've realized until this past weekend these aren't game 7 moments. These are next score wins moments. Like when you have something
Sudden
completely
death.
unrelated to the battle at hand. I mean, like what we saw in the truck race with Connor Mozak, of all people, losing a tire. Nothing to do with Lane Riggs leading the race and on his way to an owner's title, or Corey Heim on his way to the driver's title. It never should have been in question for him based on the season that he had this year. Something completely unrelated completely jumbles up the order of the grid and the running order in the race, and could potentially, thankfully it didn't happen on Friday, but it happened on Sunday, could potentially alter who goes down in history as the season champion. And that is why I think fans are fed up of the one race winner take all. Now, there may be some compromise. As much as I've said I'm done compromising, we may have to settle for a 4-race final round or settle for a 10-race chase. But I think at this point, the cries are as loud as they've ever been. And Brandon, thank you for referencing the short little unscripted commentary I put together in the middle of last week. I think it's become undeniable. The majority now, I think, based on every poll that I've seen over the last several months, want 36 race full season format, or 25, I guess it would be if you want to go down the Truck Series path. But that's what it needs to be, I think, in order for there to be no question. It might not be the most entertaining. Some years it will be, some years it won't be. Some years somebody will just run away with it, like Corey Heim and Connor Zillett should have this year. But nobody's going to be questioning the validity of their championships. Even though I can say, listen, more power to Jesse Love. He did what he had to do the night that it mattered most, and this is the system that we have. You have people out there that are doing that, and I don't think that's healthy for the sport. I don't think you would have anybody doing that if we were celebrating Connor Zillich's historic season, capped off with a very strong 3rd-place finish in the final race of Phoenix, as he's your 2025 champion, but I guess we'll never know. All right. Well, before we move on here, Tanner, just one final thing before we let you go for tonight. I know you haven't been with us as long as Matthew Breault and Joshua Burch have just joined the team at the start of this year, but I know you are excited to continue building on what this outlet is trying to do in the future. I don't believe we are even close to ready to announce anything yet regarding what the future of this time slot might hold. But what I guess before we get into that, what are some of your favorite memories from the last year, and what are you looking forward to as you look ahead to your time with this outlet in 2026 and beyond?
Yeah. Are we talking about favorite moments overall or with Grid specifically?
I guess start with Grid specifically, but if you have favorite moments from the past year, we can get into that too.
I mean, obviously the NBA discussion that we clipped here not too long ago is definitely up there. Obviously, in my first few weeks here at Grid, it was nice to kind of feel like I belonged not too long from joining. On top of that, doing the day of racing, Motorsports Christmas, which will look a little different next year. Obviously I've been used to going to Monaco in the morning and watching that race, and then we go to Indianapolis, and then I have a little bit of a gap to maybe take a nap between the Indy 500 and the Coke 600, but I'm not getting that anymore. I'm just going to have to front load it onto the morning. But anyhow, getting to do that weekend with Grid was fantastic and, truly an honor. And I'm looking forward to many Motorsports Christmases to come and seeing what we have to unwrap every Memorial Day weekend. On top of that, I would say my favorite personal moment from the year was definitely centering around my comparison of Denny Hamlin to Norman Osborn, otherwise known as the Green Goblin. Because anytime Denny Hamlin puts on that Green Goblin mask and it calls for him, he's going to do something. It may not be smart. It may not be the most calculated thing you've ever seen, but he's about to be in action, and you better watch yourself if you're nearby.
Avenge me!
Literally. And I mean, you saw it with Bubba Wallace at Kansas, which I happened to be in attendance for. So yeah, but sometimes it works out for him. Sometimes it makes him shift into a gear you've never seen him shift into before, like at Vegas a few weeks later. In addition to that, one of my favorite moments from the year, not grid related, but right before I joined Grid, I did the preseason predictions episode at the Gay Racing Podcast. So thanks again to Alex and Zach for that, where I basically said that the fastest lap point at this rate is quite simply just putting, another, ear on Mickey Mouse, essentially. Like it. What did it matter? Yeah, Kyle Larson had the most, and it won him the title or whatever, but like he didn't have 11, which was, I think, the ultimate gap between him and Byron for the full season format of it all. In addition to that, not a problem, Alex, always willing to help. Anyhow, in addition to that, coming on to this show with Ben and Brandon, one of my first times on here, talking about how Almirola put Alex Bowman Deuteronomy deep in the wall, which was both factually true, and I feel like there was still the Hendrick 17 imprinted into the outside wall if you looked hard enough this past weekend. But yeah, anyhow, those are probably some of my favorites from the year. Outside of that, being right about Bubba Wallace winning the Brickyard 400 and having 9 winners on the year picked out for Pick a Winner in NASCAR Cup Series. Pretty good record, won every 4 races. I had a streak of 4 in a row, and I think I went like, I think it was like 6 and 10 races there in the middle of the summer for genuinely no reason. Thank you, SVG. So, yeah, those would be my highlights of the year, I'd say.
Yeah, man, I'm kind of ashamed to say I kind of fell away from Pick a Winner this year. I think I was on pre-race a couple of times or Grid Tonight a couple of times and picked up a few points along the way. But man, me and fantasy sports is just it's been a struggle for me to get into the last several years, because I still remember I got really into fantasy football in the mid 2010s, and then remember being at my cousin's house on Thanksgiving Day. The Eagles were playing the Lions, and I had Calvin Johnson on my fantasy team, and the Lions just killed the Eagles, and Calvin Johnson caught like 3 touchdown passes that day, and I found myself cheering for Detroit every time my Eagles got scored on, and I was like, okay, yeah, I can't reconcile these two here. It doesn't feel quite right here. But obviously, when you're only picking one race winner out of the bunch, sometimes I guess maybe there's not as many implications going on all throughout the league or anything like that. But that's just one example there. Well, Tanner, man, like I said, thank you so much for hopping on here once again tonight. And like I said, I know I won't be a stranger. I'm sure I'll be stopping by here soon enough. And again, no, we're not quite ready to announce anything just yet, but I have full confidence that you guys are going to continue to do it, whatever you guys are doing next year. Really appreciate everything that you've contributed to this show and to the other shows as well. And if you want to hold that up one more time, I don't think we got a close enough look at that there, but your Woody Page whiteboard, I guess, is back there.
Indeed. The glare is kind of bad on the ring light, but it says, even every encore meets its end. From fan of the program to part of the program, thank you. And then 2 hearts for both, 1 for Ben and 1 for Brandon.
Thank you.
We appreciate that, man. And yeah, like I said, we will be in touch. And I gotta get you on my show as well, man, because we've had plenty of chances to talk about the issues of the week on this show, but we'd love to get to continue to know you a little bit better and hang out with you in 2026 and beyond, and not be a stranger, like I said. So we'll look forward to that. But in the meantime, we'll let you go for the evening here. But thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yep. And like I said, it was a pleasure working with you guys. And for those of you tuning in, you might need to get used to this face on Monday.
Right.
We'll see. All right, man. Have a good one. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Tanner.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. All right. Well, on that note, Brandon, one final quick open segment here before we we'll bring Kobe and Joe in here at the same time eventually, because it's hard to believe, man. It really does fly by. When you're having fun, looking back at the good times we've had on this network, we're already an hour 40 in. It doesn't feel like it's been that long here, but we're having fun tonight, and that's the main goal of this Encore finale here. But
it's a party. That's what it is. Yeah.
I'm not going to limit you to one shining moment tonight because we got 4 years to choose from here. But whether it's related to this show or just other moments in the world of motorsports that we've covered that we maybe haven't covered that other shows have covered here, what are some of your shining moments from the last 4 years in this great sport that we know and love so much?
We covered the tail end of the NASCAR Xfinity Series for 4 years, and as our basically our main diet for Monday nights. And I think as far as that series goes, I think we were able to recap some of the best racing as far as just racing product that the fans have enjoyed in several years. And so I think that of it by itself deserves a shining moment. And then I think back through some of the different storylines we covered. Goodness gracious, Shane Van Gisbergen, I think we all can say was a pretty huge thing. It was big for views too. That's where maybe a lot of you first discovered Grid Encore or the Grid Network was from finding a Shane Van Gisbergen video. And of course, we mentioned it, Joe and Kobe, as they're still backstage now, they called the Grid Ranking called SVG out from way back when, like, look out, he makes his way to the States, it's going to be something. I also think back to seeing the Noah Gragson Ty Gibbs feud of 22, and that used to be on this show that used to be the biggest thing we griped about. Imagine that. But that was certainly a time in history. Losing Auto Club Speedway was unfortunate, and kind of going through that. Well, here's a short track proposal. They've been working with iRacing, and is it happening? Well, we don't know, and we still don't know, and now it looks like we definitely don't know, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen. We saw dirt at Bristol. Of course, that was already happening before we started the show, but we got to see the tail end of that and see it kind of go through its paces. We started, Ben, with the first year of the next gen car. Of course, this is the Encore show, but we spent a lot of time looking at, especially when we had the record number of rain weekends, we ended up inheriting Sunday's recap, which became Monday.
Yeah, and what a turnaround to that. I think in 2023, I made the joke, welcome to your new home for NASCAR Cup Series coverage.
It was.
Man, first, what was it? Seth Akert had the tweet, first time since what, 1994? We had some rain delays. We had some rain shortened races. We did not have a single rain postponement for the first time in 31 years. That is absolutely incredible to think about. We got very fortunate with the weather this year, and we should count our blessings where we see them there.
We also had to welcome, we got the chance to welcome back the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series as a titlement sponsor. We saw those rumors. We also got to, unfortunately, bring in Indy, as we called it, NXT, before I was corrected that it's Indy Next, which was
I think we all had to be corrected for that.
Yeah, which was a headache. It sounds like the WWE, but it panned out. It's turned out okay. It's something we can live with. At least they're counting points as they should, right? We went through this wonderful logo change here with Grid Encore. I mean, look at our surroundings here. All the graphic updates, just the aesthetics of this show, of this network in these 4 years has been astounding and just outstanding too. Just a big credit to Joe and Kobe and all the team that have worked hard to make this just better and better. The evolution of this network since I've been here has just been phenomenal. But man, there's just way too many storylines to go back and highlight. The devilish deeds of Austin Hill most recently has kind of been our point. And also the whole Andretti Global deal and looking and now finally culminating in Colton Herta going over to Face the Music and Cadillac starting up in 2026, which, as we heard from Josh Burch, is basically going to be an Andretti property once they get their hands on it. So, man, it's been a wild 4 years, but I think we picked up a really cool time to cover this sport in this sort of context with the series that are under the Premier Series.
Yes, and Adam said, and I'm sorry, Adam, because I know we we didn't cover it as much as perhaps we could or should have here, but we did try to always show some love to the modifieds where we could. Well, that's one for me right off the bat. Going to New Hampshire this year, I really had no excuse, having been back in the Northeast, going to college here for 3.5 years, and living back up here now for 2 years. Took me long enough, but I finally got to a modified race, and what a race to go to for my first one, seeing Tyler Ripkema win it with 3 wheels. And Justin Bonsinger joking about why he didn't know why Tyler wanted to go to victory lane with a wrecked car, but that's just how the finish played out in the spectacular modified race in New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Very thankful to have been there for that, even though I wasn't doing the whole media deal. It was nice to be at the track just as a fan for the first time, I think, since Dover in 2018. I'll also say on a personal note, man, in this business, this is something that I had to learn over time, and I think others have had to learn over time is you get more acclimated to what we do here and the whole media side of things. Not separating the fan in you from the pundit or the journalist or the analyst or whatever you want to call yourself. I will always, however, have a soft spot in my heart for my childhood favorite driver, and that is AJ Allmendinger. As you all know, if you've been watching this show long enough, if you've been following me on social media long enough, and I can't help but think back a little more than 2 years ago when my grandfather passed away after his battle with cancer and other health-related issues. And very gracious to you, Brandon, and everybody at Grid that helped me get through that. And I forget who filled in for me on the show that weekend, but I know somebody did. You guys kept the show going as I took some time off. But I remember I didn't watch most of the Roval race that day. I just went to the mall. Actually ran into some of my friends there, so got to hang out with them. Totally unplanned. Really helped take my mind off of the situation. And I got home, and just for the heck of it, turned on whatever it was, either NBC or USA. And AJ's leading on the final lap. I mean, you can't script it, And
perfect.
That's, again, you separate the fan in you from the media analyst or the pundit or whatever. But man, I needed that. And that was a really special moment for me. And I hope, I don't know how many more years AJ's got left. I know it was a down year for him, and it's been kind of complicated now with SVG coming into the Cup Series and really stealing all of those road course wins and road course opportunities from him. And I want to thank him as well. Not that he's probably watching this, but I did get to speak with him briefly at the bullpen in Sonoma, and trying to ask him, you've been here before. You were driving the Red Bull car in 07 and 08.
Right. Yeah.
You got so many more laps here in a Cup car than SVG has, and do you think that might help you guys close the gap? And he was like, not one bit, not at all. And fortunately for SVG, unfortunately for him and the rest of the field, he was proven right, of course. And so it's going to be interesting to see. I still stand by the argument I made on the show a couple months ago. I think colleagues should put him in a truck. You got 20% of the schedule next year. You're going to have no SVG, no Zilich, probably no Corey Heim. We still don't know exactly what his plans are going to look like next year. Maybe some of that's dependent on what happens with 2311 and the lawsuit. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that all shapes out next year. I assume he's at least going to be in that all-star truck for a handful of races, especially now that the limits have been raised here. I don't have to worry about just maybe capping him at the 5 road course or street course races that we have next year, because they are going to St. Pete, like we heard earlier on in the show tonight. Another really cool moment, just this past weekend, Ryan Vargas somehow stumbled across the clip that I posted from our Encore show, and we gave him the highlight after he won his Monster Jam debut, the overall event championship. And that's always been cool. Again, as we've been trying to build this up over the last several years, and to see drivers recognize our work. I still remember the first time that it happened to me was I was writing for Nick Olson. He used to have this website called Across the Stripe, and I just started my senior year of college, my last semester, because I finished in 3.5 years, and doing whatever freelance writing or video making that I could at the time. And he gave me a chance to write a few pieces for the site that he had at the time. And Brad Smith got his first top 10 in ARCA. and thought there was a nice opportunity to put a little bit of spotlight on the journeyman independent ARCA driver that he is. And we tagged him. He saw it. He quoted it and said, "Thank you. Certainly captured the essence of what we're trying to do and plan ahead for 2021 at the time." And never forget that. Just a very, very special feeling to have your work recognized by people in the industry. And saw it again this weekend with Ryan's comment and, drivers that we've gotten to interview over the years. We're going to have Kobe on here in just a moment. But, and by the way, Brandon, I don't know, do you have any time constraints? Because I know we're running up here on time. We're trying to figure out if we're going to bring Joe and Kobe in at the same time or.
Yeah, we bring him in. Yeah, we're fine. We're fine.
We're fine. Okay, so we'll bring Kobe and then Joe after that. But the interview that Kobe and I did with Miles Rowe, I know we did a lot of great interviews on Life on the Grid, but Miles was particularly, I think, one of our favorites, and great to see what he's continued to accomplish. Around this time last year, we had Eric Johnson Jr. on the show. Got to interview Mandy Chick on Women in Motorsports a couple of years ago after she had her top 5 run at Daytona. And those are all moments that I've been very appreciative of and opportunities I've been very appreciative of here at the Grid Network. And again, just, want to continue to reminisce on those times here as we continue to wind down the show here. I really don't want it to end here, but it has to at some point tonight. And so on that note, if he's ready backstage here, let's go ahead and, well, before we do that, let's one more comment here from Adam. Got to go to some short tracks in New England, Lee USA Speedway, White Mountain Motorsports Park, Seekonk. Seekonk is definitely on my bucket list. I gotta get to that one. And Stafford Springs as well. Thompson Speedway. Yeah, there are plenty up here in the Northeast, and I'll try to hit them all up one by one as I can here over the next couple of years. Got to take a look at the modified schedule. I don't know if that's out yet or not for 26, but like I said, New Hampshire certainly made me a fan for life. Not that I wasn't already, but would love to get back to that in 26 and beyond here as well. All right. Well, let's bring him in here. The man who's really the main reason that I'm talking to you right now, Kobe Lambeth. Kobe, good to see you again, man. How's it going?
It's going well. Been a long day, but I wouldn't miss this for the world. Been having a lot of fun backstage watching this. Even if I weren't on the show tonight, I would still be watching because it's been an incredible ride. This show has been with Grid Encore. I remember, Ben, when you were doing the Grid Tonight occasionally, and then on every wrap up show. Before we started the Grid, before you brought up the idea of wanting to do this type of show, you always kept saying, I wish we could talk about other series outside of the Cup Series, IndyCar, F1, all of our main stuff, and the Grid ranking. And then I think I was the one who first suggested, how about you have your own show, and you really liked the idea, and then we just ran with it. And as you mentioned, it was called Grid Live Encore for a long time, and then he dropped the live and just became Grid Encore, and you guys have really made it your own, and it's just been so amazing to see what you guys have made this show over the years. You built your own audience, different from the audiences we have for the pre-race, wrap up, Women in Motorsports, Grid Tonight. It just seemed like that Grid Encore has just been unique compared to everything else. And I think some of the previous guests you had on before me, said it best, that you guys have just really made it your own, and that's what made Grid Encore special. And I know I could be biased and say that Grid Tonight is my favorite program since it is the one that I operate, but no, Grid Tonight is not my favorite program. It's this one, Grid Encore. Yeah, it is. It's literally this one, Grid Encore. I'm really gonna miss 7 o'clock in 2026 on a Monday night, because I always schedule time to watch this show whenever I have the time. Unfortunately, sometimes, given my schedule, it's not always possible, but whenever it's possible, I drop everything I'm doing and I'll sit back down and watch this show, because some weeks, are good and some weeks are not good. But especially on the weeks, when things are not going well in my life for whatever reason, I always look forward to coming here at Grid Encore, because it always puts a smile on my face.
Man.
Yeah, Kobe, we really appreciate that. And like I said, on a personal note here, it was a very weird time. It's hard to believe it's been 5 years since we were locked down and, trying to figure out, how we were going to come out of the pandemic and everything. And, what was going on, and getting constant updates from different places all around the world, and not really knowing what was next. Felt like the days were just kind of dragging on. Now I feel like time's moving faster than ever. Like I said, it's hard to believe it's been 5 years, but you reached out to me in that off season, and I'm so glad you did, because, and I said it, last week here, just talking about what our breaking point was. And for me, I really was disillusioned after 2020 when Kevin Harvick can't even say lost a championship, didn't even have a chance to fight for a championship in the championship four, despite having a season not much unlike what Connor Zilic and Corey Heim just did. And just really thinking that our sport was broken, not seeing a path forward for it, and honestly didn't know how much NASCAR racing at all I was going to watch in 2021 and beyond. And then, you, I think, saw a couple of my videos, and we'd known each other for a couple of years at that point. You gave me the opportunity. You believed in me, you championed me, and you brought me on to the wrap-up show in 2021, and really rekindled a love that I never truly lost, but got me back into, following this sport and loving the sport. And loving it does not mean you turn a blind eye to its faults, like I said last week. And goodness knows there are a lot of faults in the world of motorsports right now, not just in one series or the other, but it has been a joy nonetheless to be here with you guys and help expand our coverage here. And I remember what you were saying there. I think when it really hit me was, again, not being the biggest fan of the practice, but Kyle Busch winning 100 Xfinity wins. I said, we got to talk about this. This is a big deal. This is an achievement, even though it doesn't fit one of the grid ranking series necessarily. I think we should still talk about it and trying to find those opportunities. Remember Dave Mader finished second in an ARCA race at Talladega at 65 years old. Those are moments that I wanted to highlight beyond just the one shining moment opportunities at the end. And those ideas, bouncing those around, turned into a show like this where we could have a little more freedom to venture out into those different series and give them the coverage that they deserve here. And you were a major part of bringing me into the team for the first year and helping me learn the ropes of this industry and helping me find the confidence that I needed to do a show like this and to host a show like this. And obviously bringing Brandon on board was a big part of that as well. But I've told you before, there is no Ben Schneider without Kobe Lambeth. And I cannot tell you how appreciative I am that you took a chance on me that offseason, and who would have thought it would have led to all of this 5 years later.
It's just been an incredible ride, Ben. And I think you were the fourth member ever of the Grid Network team, if I remember correctly. It was during the pandemic, I think, when NASCAR came back for the Real Heroes 400, if I remember that correctly, at Darlington. It was a really strange time because everybody was wearing masks, and then there was literally nobody in the grandstands. You're racing behind closed doors. Remember, Joe and I, we started this off doing a Grid Live pre-race and then a wrap up. I think it was like the day before my birthday that year, and it was just really surreal. Just me and Joe starting this off, and then Joe and Matt White, they had already had connections before that. Then that once me and Joe, we started up Grid Network and all of that. That Matt White came in with the Grid Endurance Performance, and that's what it's known today. It was called something else in the past that I can't really remember right now off the top of my head, as that's gone through some different name changes and rebranding. And then later on, we brought you into the equation to be the fourth member of this team. And Ben, the reason why, I really wanted to bring you on this team, not because you're very knowledgeable about motorsports and not just because of the amazing content that you had. It was also because, I feel like, if you want people to, watch your content, believe in your content, you also need someone who's not only knowledgeable, but also has a lot of personality as well. And I'm not saying I don't have personality. I'm not saying that Matt White or Joe don't have any personality, but Ben, when it comes to you, you're one of the biggest personalities here at Grid Network, and it's gonna be it's gonna be such a shame that you're not here anymore. But whatever you're doing in the future, I'm fully behind you 100%, and can't wait to support you moving forward. Because the one thing I'm gonna miss the most in this program are the Ben rants. I call them the hashtag Ben rants. I always love me a good Ben rant. That's exactly why I pushed you to join the wrap up show. The last race weekend, because I really wanted to see one final Ben rant, because those are one of my favorite parts. I like to see all these different things that get you fired up. It just shows how passionate of a person you are when it comes to all of these things. And I think this Wednesday on Grid Tonight, I don't know if it's going to be the top story or the hot topic, but it will be at the very least the hot topic. I think it would be something we get you to rant on, and I'm not going to go into major detail about it now. I'll just give you a brief preview of what that's going to be. It's about this guy named John Elkann. He's the chairman of Ferrari, and so I see you already see. I know that's something that would get you to rant about him.
Jerry Elkann, I think, is what I called him this afternoon.
Yes, exactly. When I first read this story, I was first thing I thought, I said this will be a perfect topic for Ben to come on and rant about if he wanted to, because when I was reading this at the very end, I'm thinking, is this not Jerry Jones taking a shot at Micah Parsons in the media? Is this not Woody Johnson taking a shot at Justin Fields for not being a good quarterback? And is this not Jimmy Haslam moving on from Baker Mayfield because he wanted an adult in the room instead of letting Baker be himself? Because it was just like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe the chairman of Ferrari is praising the team and then slamming the drivers behind the wheel. Might as well say just shut up and dribble based on what he said. Like, it was just really insane. I thought about you when I read that story today, Ben, because I really admire the passion you have about topics all across motorsports, whether it's overtime, playoffs, or crazy stories like this. I just couldn't believe that story when I saw it. But yeah, Ben, you've been an incredible personality here at Grid Network, and I think people watch, not just because of the content. I think they watch because of you as well. And you and Brandon, been working really great together over the years. It's been great to watch, almost the instant chemistry that you had, and continue to grow this show over the years. And you've definitely made Monday nights worthwhile, not just for myself, but from all of the viewers that we've earned over the years. And I also want to shout you out on one thing, Ben. A lot of people, who watch our programs may not know this, but the unsung hero of our YouTube channel is Ben, who's been managing our YouTube content for the last few years. And I think I'm going to say 96% of you all who are watching our programs, you probably would have never found us if it wasn't for Ben. Because before Ben, we were just doing these long episodes like we're doing right now, and we weren't really putting any clips out there. And I know everyone, are busy in their lives. They don't really have, a lot of time to sit around for 2 hours like we've done tonight to listen to everything been said. And others, just simply have short attention spans. So maybe at most they can give you 20 minutes, but most maybe 5, 10, 15, something like that. And with Ben, he was able to, take our most important segments from each episode, and clip them into a really short clip, sometimes under 5 minutes, sometimes between 5 to 10. And if it was, a really important lengthy discussion, it would be over 10 minutes. But he had the talent, he had the talent to notice like what was the most important thing said in each episode. And he was able to clip everything that you've seen, some of our shorter clips from our big shows. So Ben, I think if it weren't for you, we'd still be under 1,000 subscribers right now. We wouldn't be on the road to 2,000 right now. And that's another thing that we're going to miss significantly here at Grid Network. I don't know who's going to be managing our YouTube channel moving forward. I know a few of us are interested, in doing an off-season workshop with you to learn how to clip the shows. But I can tell you one thing, Ben, whoever takes it over, they're not going to do half a good job as you've done, because you've been absolutely remarkable clipping our shows. And I just want you to know how much I deeply appreciate that from the bottom of my heart, because there's no 1,000 subscribers without Ben Schneider, and there's no road to 2,000 and beyond without the hard work that you've done on our YouTube channel. I think you deserve a lot more credit than you've gotten for what you've done for our YouTube. It's just been, remarkable. And I just owe you a huge, deal of gratitude for what you've done there.
Appreciate that, Kobe. And like I said, I completely feel the same way about you. I'm indebted to you forever for being the one to reach out and give me this opportunity. Like I said, Brandon, I don't know if you have any parting words you want to share with Kobe here.
Yeah, I mean, I want to thank you, Kobe, for being a part of that team that allowed me to come on, and I'll talk about it with Joe as well. But one of the individuals I have to thank is Luis Torres with the LT Files, because if it wasn't for that connection, I would have never found my way across Grid Network. And so, I'm thinking about what I was doing in 2020 when you guys were just forming this up, and the real heroes at Darlington and all that happening. It's just amazing how the Lord can just put people's paths in one way, and then here we are in 2025 and parting. But yeah, thank you, Kobe, for everything that you've done, that you're continuing to do here for Grid Encore, or for Grid as a whole. And I second that wholeheartedly. Ben, without Ben clipping and making sure we have the real content and the short form stuff, it's just been night and day for the Grid Network. And Ben, your work should not go unnoticed, and we thank you for for blasting all of our personalities out into the ether and grabbing the attention, especially when it said SVG on the label.
Yeah, definitely. SVG brought in a whole bunch of viewers to this channel, and and like I said, Ben, you have a real talent when it comes to managing a YouTube channel. So if you're ever looking for jobs in the future, and if there's jobs out there that say manager YouTube content on LinkedIn or whatever site, I think you should consider applying for it if that's something you wanted to do, because I think you could be a real asset, to a lot of those bigger organizations out there. And Brandon, really happy that you decided to join the Grid Network as well. And I do remember Luis Torres was the one who recommended you to me, because I remember I was talking to Luis. I said, hey, we're starting up this new program on Monday nights called Grid Live Encore, talking about the Xfinity, Truck, ARCA, Indy Next, Formula 2, those, all the feeder series out there. And I said that we're going to have one of our main guys, Ben Schneider. He's going to be starting this program, and we need a co-host, because Ben, you remember when we first started this up, it was just you and we didn't have a co-host. I said, I'm going to find you a co-host. So Joe and I, we went out there and we found you Brandon Crosslin right here. And I think, Brandon's obviously been a wonderful addition to the team, and I think we found the best possible co-host for you out there, because you and Brandon, as you depart Grid Network, you guys are gonna go off together on your next adventure, and this is something that's going to continue well beyond the Grid Network. So Brandon, I'm really glad we got lucky on the first try here, and you've been a reliable and talented partner for Ben all of these years and beyond.
I thank you both for the opportunity, and thank Joe as well, as we will here soon. But yeah, it's been a phenomenal ride.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are already over 2 hours here, so Kobe, I won't keep you any longer, but I want to say thank you again for everything. Before you go here, and I do want to have you back on my show, because I want to talk a little bit more than just motorsports with you. I know you're a big football, basketball, Charlotte sports fan. In the next 10 years, do you think your Carolina Panthers or your Charlotte Hornets win a championship? Yes or no?
That's a really tough one, to be honest. In my heart, I want to say yes, but when I use my head, I'm thinking, unless they fix the incompetence on all sides of the equation in both organizations, probably not. On the NBA side of things, I think the Charlotte Hornets could potentially be a play-in team. Even Sir Charles Barkley said the same thing on Inside the NBA, that he feels like the Hornets can be a play-in team contender if LaMelo stays healthy. But LaMelo's same issues with his ankle are continuing to show up, and he's been missing a few games. So it doesn't look like, it's still early. It could still turn around, but it's just really, frustrating situation with LaMelo, because if he's able to continue playing on a high level, continue that piece around here, I think we could, be a play-in team and potentially, go into the playoffs and see what happens after that. I do think we have a good coach in Charles Lee. It's just a matter of, getting the right players in the right places and the right roles, making that work. And in regards to Carolina Panthers, I'm just grateful we won 5 games. We're at 500 now. We're 5-5. Yeah, it's better than what it has been, because it's just been nothing but pure misery. And this Carolina Panthers team is, I'm happy on one hand that we've done better this year already at this point than we've basically done the last few years combined. So we have a lot to be excited about in Carolina. It's just the fact that when we win games, we win in the most ugliest way possible. It can't be like the Falcons game where we shut them out 33-0. That was like an anomaly, because in the other games we have to play really, really bad on offense, but we still somehow sneak out a win, because it's like in the fourth quarter, our team locks in and we go out there, and get the job done. And then there are other weeks where we just get flat out humiliated, like we did against the Buffalo Bills. And I think the New England Patriots embarrassed us as well. And then what do? We go to Lambeau Field, knock off the Green Bay Packers, one of the best teams in the NFL, and a great win for the organization. And then the very next week, we lose to one of the worst teams in the NFL, the New Orleans Saints. You just can't make that stuff up. Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do in Carolina, Ben, but there are parts to be happy about, but it's still, very, very, very frustrated. Carolina's not, well, the Panthers are not our team that, they don't really do as well as often as some teams do, like your Philadelphia Eagles, who are playing on Monday Night Football right now. So we've made it to the Super Bowl twice and we've lost twice. And, that's really hard to swallow, because, when you lose that Super Bowl, there's no guarantee that you're going to get back anytime soon. And it's been a decade for us.
Yeah, when talk about ugly games, if I'm reading this right, it looks like they're halfway through the second quarter of them and the Packers are, and looks like it's still scoreless. So we'll see. I'll try to catch the second half of the game here once I'm done. But you got the Carolina Hurricanes and Charlotte FC seem to be perennial playoff teams, but I know you badly want your Panthers back in the Super Bowl, and the Hornets could just get back in the playoffs. I think that would be a good.
Yeah. That would be a huge win. As you know, my main sports outside of motorsports are football and basketball. I still cheer for the Hurricanes and our other teams. But my heart is mostly with the Carolina Panthers. Then is the Charlotte Hornets. Then I said the North Carolina Tar Heels in college basketball. Then my 49ers in college football, which are one of the worst teams in FBS right now, unfortunately. And then it's everybody else. I mean, I'll be happy if the other teams do well, but if the Carolina Panthers win the Super Bowl, that would be like my Mount Rushmore moment.
Yeah. Hopefully Matthew Owen's not still watching, because I know he's been going crazy over his Duke alum, Daniel Jones, tearing it up in Indianapolis this year. But man, thanks again. Like I said, Kobe, we'll talk to you soon. Like I said, I got to get you all back on my podcast here, so that we're not kept apart here for too long. But appreciate you stopping by tonight, and we will make sure to talk to you soon and stay in touch.
Yeah, we will. While this era may be over for you and Brandon here at Grid Network, our friendship continues beyond these walls.
Amen.
Absolutely.
All right. We'll see you soon, man. Have a good one.
Thank you, Kobe.
Have a great night.
All right. Well, we have one final guest here tonight, and then we'll do a quick look ahead, even though we don't have anything to formally announce tonight ourselves. Some teasers for what may be coming in the future here, and then we'll do our final closing and thank yous and everything. Before we do that, we can't leave tonight without saying hello to the founder of Grid Network and our team leader, Joe Samaniego, and he joins us now. Joe, great to see you, my man. How's it going?
Doing wonderful. Been enjoying the show. It's just sort of nice being the last person. It's like, oh, okay, just seeing what everyone has to say and just echo everything of what everyone has said about what you two have done with the show. Giving identity, everything you all done for Grid. But start off with just something, being unemployed in 2020, or just, hey, I do the Grid ranking. Maybe I could do a YouTube channel. Can't do it without a great team and great people. And you two have been very critical in making that a huge reality. A lot of fun. So they're going to be different on Mondays, listening to you all wherever you got planned. But definitely the memories you all share with everyone, especially with Josh, Matthew, made this a very special journey.
Yeah, Brandon, if I start talking to the way this show's gone, I see Joe's got a meeting here in 15 minutes. We have gone much longer than I was expecting tonight, but that's okay, because we've been reminiscing on the good times here. But I don't know if you have any final thoughts you want to share with Joe before we sign off for the night.
Yeah, absolutely, Joe. Just want to thank you for your kindness, for letting me in on this whole circus, along with, I know Ben was already here, and just personally looking for a co-host, and just want to thank you for listening to Kobe and also to Luis Torres there in Oregon, for being a part of your local state connection there that somehow put me together with the awesome team here at Grid Network. And just want to thank you for your leadership throughout working through local government there, and still, as much of a headache I'm sure that must be, but still having your passion for motorsports and for sharing this platform with all of us around the world, literally. So just thank you for letting me be a part of this. And I know Ben will say that as well. It's been a very fun ride, and hope we've done all we could to amplify this product and push it forward.
Yeah, Brandon, you have contributed so much. Really enjoyed everything you've done, and then just seeing your posts on social media, especially when you have interviews from folks on Motor Racing Network. I encourage everyone follow you at Crosslin Racing, and we'll miss you. And of course, Ben has been here before to Oregon, knows the area. You're always welcome to stop by. We got races usually at the track, but at the same time, just want to chill and hang out, see the beautiful state of Oregon. Always welcome at the guest room. Real guest room, because the first time Ben was here, he remembers he was sleeping in a tent in the back of a Chevy Equinox on a wet and rainy NASCAR Xfinity Series weekend at Portland International Raceway.
Yeah, well, that's the perfect segue.
It is.
Matt, I think you are the only person on this team that I have actually met face to face, not through a computer
So
screen.
What about that?
I've met some, like, I've obviously, Ethan Smith and Brock Beard have been a big part, and I'll shout them out in my closing as well. I've met Luis Torres as well. He was at Portland Sonoma in 22. But I'm just trying to think. If you're looking at this list in terms of regulars, I've got to get to North Carolina. Got to get to meet the folks down there. That is a state that I definitely need to explore a little bit more of. But I don't believe there's anybody else that I've actually gotten to shake hands with and talk to in person. And Joe, I knew as soon as Brock Beard brought me on to cover ARCA for him about 6 months after I started here. And I had known Brock a little bit, communicated back and forth with him before. But when I saw that 2022 schedule come out and I saw Portland, Sonoma were back to back, I said to myself, I don't know how this is going to work, but I need to find a way to see if I can do Portland with Joe and Grid and then Sonoma with Brock and lastcar.info. And, it would have, I can't tell you how much money I probably saved, trying to coordinate, and Ethan was a huge part of this as well, but the amount of hotel room fees and Ubers and, what I've had to buy another plane ticket from Portland down to the Bay Area if it weren't for Ethan. But you were a big part of that, welcoming me in to your home for the last 2 years. But even the RV was much appreciated, even though it wasn't quite as comfortable as the guest room. We made it work. And, man, what a weekend that was. The torrential downpour. I think Luis and Ethan are still trying to dry some of their cameras that they were using that weekend. That was absolutely insane, the weather that we had to deal with. But you opened your door to me, and I always say, you think back to, and Joe, I know you're a little bit older than Brandon and I are, but I remember our parents and our elementary school teachers telling us, don't talk to strangers, be careful who you talk to on the internet. And now we're coordinating all of these things with people that we've never actually met face to face, but we trust each other, and we all knew that it was going to work out. And that's just the nature of the world, this digital world that we live in now. And like I said, I can't tell you how thankful I am that you showed me that hospitality and gave me, again, the opportunity to do my own show and help you guys out with the coverage of those series. And I still love the ARCA Menard Series West. I wish I had been born maybe about 10 years earlier to have witnessed it in the 2010s with higher car counts and everything. And even earlier than that, I guess the glory of the old Winston West days. I know you certainly know Herschel McGriff's story very, very well. And getting to be here when he went into the Hall of Fame, long overdue, but thank goodness he was there to give his own speech eventually. And I still wouldn't put it past him to take McAnally and Childress up on that offer when he turns 100 in a few years. Who knows? He's the youngest 97-year-old I've ever seen. But man, we've had a lot of great times together, and the 3 years that I was able to come out to Portland were a huge part of that. I'm sorry that it didn't work out again this year with the schedule changes and everything. And I would have loved to have gotten out there for an IndyCar race as well. But I appreciate the chances and opportunities nonetheless, and I'm glad that I could be a part of your on-site coverage for those three Xfinity and ARCA West race weekends.
Yeah, the on-site coverage was a lot of fun. It takes really two people. I mean, having you and I there for the 2 years with NASCAR was great. I know since then I sort of opened the door. We've had Jackson Lambros come out to do IndyCar. We've had Nicole Fry. She's from Washington State, so not too far of a trip. But definitely what we've learned that first year, just like, okay, this is how the media center, because this is only the second time I've ever been in the media center. No journalism experience, just really learning on the go. And we made it work. We had NASCAR happy with everything, and been like that for the last few years. And you're definitely a big part of it. And yeah, it's just one of those fun memories that I'll never forget. Just by the end of that weekend, we were so drenched. But the day after the race, that was the first sunny day since Thursday when you arrived.
Yeah, let's catch up on the chat here one more time. Humperdinck, one of our longtime regulars. Good to see him in chat again. Really appreciate your contribution, guys, and hope the best for your future. I know you'll do great in whatever you do. We really appreciate that. And Adam extending the same offer. Barbecue dinner is on me when you come to North Carolina. Ben, I'll have to keep that in mind and maybe take you up on that, Adam. And looks like the offer extends to both Brandon and Joe as well.
Adam.
And Matthew Owens is still here, despite Kobe expressing his love for North Carolina Tar Heels. You guys are so awesome. The passion for the sport you have comes through, but you're incredibly entertaining along with informative. Thank you for everything you've given us. And Matthew,
you're awesome.
Yes.
Stop it.
And I know it has we've had our fair share of disagreements over the last week and a half or so. There's no doubt about that with everything that's happened in the sport, but it's never been personal. It's never been hostile. We have passionately debated these issues, and I know that we will continue to do that. We just might not be here in this capacity on Monday nights when it happens, but we're not going anywhere. We're just moving on to some different places. But in the meantime, Joe, like I said, we cannot thank you enough for the hospitality that you have shown to us, both virtually and in person, over the last 5 years, but particularly the last 4 with this show. It is much appreciated, and I think I speak for Brandon when I say we don't take it for granted, and can't thank you enough.
Yeah. I can't thank you both enough for being part of this. I mean, something brand new to just about everyone on the team doing something like this. The two of you, hey, we want to do a program together, feature series that we hadn't been talking about. Both did an excellent job, and the way I see it, start of a new chapter. This is the end of a current chapter with you both here, but you got new exciting chapters for you both. We'll see what happens with Grid Network. We're getting ready for 2026 as well, but the memories I will always treasure, just the friendships and everything. Like, you know, we got a common passion, motorsports. We got this beautiful internet where we could connect with fans. There's no longer the remoteness of me in Alaska back then, or you guys in the East Coast, Southeast. Now we can connect, and we're doing something positive for ourselves and for the fans and for the viewers that love this passion, motorsports. And cannot thank you both enough. And just, we'll miss seeing you all, but definitely not going to be strangers. And I'm pretty sure, I mean, the Daytona 500 is 98 days away? Something might happen, and you'll be welcome back on Grid Life Wrap Up.
Oh, things will happen in those 98 days for certain.
Yes, and I will stop by. Much like Jackson Lambros, who you mentioned, Joe, did great work for us, is now full-time writing with Jalapnik and some other outlets as well, killing it, doing a great job with this coverage, but is still in our Slack chat and still pops in from time to time when there's a big IndyCar story, and I have no doubt that I'll be doing the same. And I will see you in a couple of weeks. F1 Academy's back at Las Vegas, and I will be on that Women in Motorsports episode or episodes, depending on if we do a preview or a recap or both. We'll figure that out when the time comes here soon enough, but looking forward to that as well. So like I said, this is not a final sign off for good. I'll be popping in from time to time and looking forward to that as well.
Indeed, looking forward, and thank you both. Enjoy the rest of the show, and just thank you to all the viewers that made this a great show and been tuning in for Brandon and Brand in the last few years, and continue to support them. There are links in social medias in the video description.
Thank you, Joe.
All right. Yes, thank you so much, Joe. And like I said to everybody else tonight, we'll be in touch and make sure we talk to you soon. All right. Well, before we go into the closing, like I said, nothing formal to announce tonight, but I do want to take a quick look to the future here. Brandon, you and I have developed a lot of great chemistry over the last 4 years, and I know we would like to continue this chemistry that we have in some way, shape, or form. I don't know what's going to happen to this time slot. Tanner Smith kind of hinted at it. They have expressed interest, he and Matthew Breault, I believe, in potentially taking over this show or doing something with this time slot at the very least. Maybe not Grid Encore, but kind of taking over what we have done on Monday nights for the last 4 years. And they have our full support.
I'm excited to see what they'll do with it. Yeah.
Yes, I am likewise very excited. I know whatever they're doing, whether it's their own show or still Sundays on Wrap Up, and it's been great to see Matthew again. I know he kind of took a step back from being on the air when he started writing our race reports for gridnetworktv.com, but been great to see him back on the air this year in a more semi-regular capacity, and we'll see if he gets that opportunity next year. Hopefully his schedule works out with Tanner's and they can do something. I know they're going to kill it, whatever they're doing next year. Now, we would like to continue doing something next year, but I was just telling Tanner and Matthew before we came on the air, I don't want to be competition necessarily, so to speak. Whether if we're doing a show on my personal channel or your channel, Brandon. Brandon does also have a YouTube channel. He doesn't like to plug it, but he has been posting some great interviews.
Just gotta get better at updating it. Really, it's where all the MRN interviews go for now. But I've really thought about doing some more original content for once. Outside of I haven't done really original content outside of those interviews since COVID months. So yeah, we'll see what will happen. I don't know. I have a camera. We'll see.
Yeah, and that's also what I want to do before we sign off tonight. One of the reasons that I'm taking a step back from my full-time role here at Grid is because I have missed independent content creation. I can't tell you how many comments I've gotten on my YouTube channel over the last couple of years. Ben, when are you going to make another game show video? When are you going to talk about this? When are you tease this? When are you going to come back to that? And it hasn't been because I don't want to. It's just been a matter of time. We would do the Monday night Encore show here, and I'd spend all Monday getting ready for that, and then usually I've got an article to write for Brock Beard on Tuesday, and meanwhile I'm clipping this show, and then Kobe's show is on Wednesday night, and I'm clipping that, and then Thursday I just need a break from it all because I'm doing all this on top of a 9 to 5, by the way. So Thursday I want to take some time to rest and recharge, and then, well, shoot, man, Friday night there's a truck race, and then Saturday there's an Xfinity race, or there's an Indy Next race, or there's something else. Or maybe I just want to go out for the weekend and hang out with friends. Like it's been hard to find the time to really dedicate. I don't want to just be like a content mill that's putting out, rushed videos for the sake of, monetizing them and running up the view count. I'm going to be doing independent content creation. I want to be doing it well and doing it with a purpose and having the time to dedicate to that. And that is something that I am looking forward to doing on a more regular basis next year. Just pulled up. I have a whole document of video script, video essay ideas, and I'll just tease a few of these for you. No promises, no guarantees that I'll get to these in the near future. They might come out a year from now, 2 years from now, maybe 2 weeks from now. I don't know. It's all going to depend on how motivated I am and what I want to be talking about. But I love the Owners' Championship. I have always wanted to look back at 2007 and the Holiday Inn ride that Scott Wimmer and Jeff Burton shared, and everybody remembers Carl Edwards running away with that driver's title. How many people actually remember the really close and really intense battle for the Owners' Championship between Wimmer and Burton and Carl Edwards driving full-time in the 60? I think there's a story to be told there. What else do I have on here? You remember when Steve Harvey hosted Millionaire? You remember that? Are you even aware that happened?
No.
He was one of the guest hosts when Meredith Vieira was also hosting the Today Show at the same time. And boy, when he took over Family Feud, I think we were worried because that was a rough stretch of 5 shows. There was a lot of content there that is worth revisiting. That's been on my list for a while. There's a lot of independent drivers from, again, the mid to late 2000s when I was first getting started following this show, but I wanted to do some driver profiles on, much like Brock Beard has done in the past. I have always wanted to do look back on the $1 million game show boom of the turn of the millennium and kind of having an outline, an idea for something that maybe resembles Brock Beard's Rise of the Field Filler series and going through them one by one. I guess I've kind of been doing that with my $1 Million Almost Impossible series, but looking at those shows, I mean, I don't know how many episodes we could maybe run that up to, but that's been on my list for a while. Some more top 10 lists in the racing and game show world, all sorts of ideas that are on my list here that again, hasn't been for lack of, desire or content creator burnout. It's just been a matter of finding the time. And I'm very hopeful that I will have that time in the not too distant future. The one that I really want to do, and again, I kind of hinted at it earlier in the show, I've always loved AJ Allmendinger and his story in this sport. Kind of am waiting for him to maybe retire so that I don't have to add an epilogue in the future. But man, I want to do a Slap Shoes Mark Martin style multi-part series on his career. And so those are all just, again, some ideas that I have in the works. Again, no promises as to when I will get to certain ones of those or other ideas that are bouncing around in my head, but that is also part of what I want to do in the future. And I'm hopeful to have that time starting next year to really do my research and put those together with the quality and attention that they deserve.
It's good ideas there, and I can't wait to see more of your game show side of your personality take the helm on some of this content creation. And when you get to the field fillers for these $1 million game shows, if Dog Eat Dog shows up on one of those, count me in, because I'm pretty much an expert on Dog Eat Dog.
I don't know about the $1 million. I mean, it was a primetime NBC. I guess I did briefly. It lived on. It had a second life on GSN. And maybe
that's
kind of maybe that was part of why Brooke Burns got signed on to host for Chase, which again was kind of worried about thinking back to Dog Eat Dog. I didn't know how well her hosting experience on a show like that would have transferred over to the Chase, but I think she did a fine job on that show. One of my all-time favorite GSN originals. No relation to the Chase for the Cup. This is something completely different. Want to make that clear for our racing audience out there, but certainly. And I've already done a video on the history of a Chase in America. You can go check that out on my channel once we sign off the air here.
I'm getting word that my cat is upset that I've been behind this door for so long. So
all right. Well, we will tie it all together here.
You remember, that's one of my favorite grid moments as well, is whenever she, Allie, our cat, showed up on the table during the show. Yeah, can't forget that.
Yeah. How many times we've each moved and how the backgrounds have changed over the years. I had a feeling this show might run long, so I made sure to make my way home into the new apartment space for this one. I've been doing a lot of them from my work office, but well, man, I guess this is it. The only thing left to do is to say thank you. And you know, man, the risk you run in listing off names is that you'll leave somebody off, and I apologize in advance if I do leave somebody off here. Please know it was not intentional, and you can message me after the show if you think you got left off here, and I will correct the record here. But first two people I have to thank, two people that most of you watching this probably have never heard of. Maybe if you're watching this, if you know me in real life, you'll know these names. But Chase Strauss and Liam Carroll gave me an opportunity when I was a college student at Gordon. We used to have this student-run radio outlet called Scott Radio, and we're the Gordon College Fighting Scots. That's our mascot. And I think that was the weekend Infinity War came out in theaters, and Liam decided he needed to go see Infinity War, and Chase needed a co-host. And the show was called Biased Sports Talk. And even though I'm a diehard Philadelphia sports fan, and I am in Red Sox, Patriots, Celtics, Bruins, Revolution Nation up here in New England, he invited me on. And I had an absolute blast. I didn't really know what I was doing, and I cringe every time I go back and try to listen to that show, because you can tell I don't have the confidence or the personality that Kobe was talking about. But man, I still had a blast doing it, and they were gracious enough when Liam came back the second week to invite me on to that show once again. And those were my first two shows. Well, I guess I can't say first two times on the air, because I had that camp opportunity at Waynesburg between my junior and senior years of high school. But I'm so thankful to them for showing me that I could do something like this. I thought I'd go into college and get maybe a journalism degree and go into writing. And I do still write, of course, for Brock, and put my video scripts, video essay drafts together. So I am doing some writing, but didn't think that this would necessarily be the path that I was led down. And that played no small role in showing me that I could do something like this. You heard from them tonight. Kobe Lambeth and Joe Samaniego took a chance on me. We had connected through social media. I'd be lying if I told you the first time I remember interacting with Kobe, but I'm so thankful that he reached out to me and gave me the opportunity to join him and Joe on Wrap Up. And Adam Lemeries, who's been in the chat tonight as well, was a part of that show for the first couple of years I was here. And again, really gave me the confidence I needed to know that I could do a show like this and host my own show and continue to build up the experience here over the last 5 years. That first year of Wrap Up, I cannot tell you how valuable that was of an experience for me. Again, I mentioned it in regards to Joe, but also I have to give a shout out to Ethan Smith and Brock Beard. Without them, the Portland-Sonoma doubleheader, my own version of a double, Kyle Larson's double hasn't gone so well for 2 years that he's tried it, but it could not have been better for me.
You were
doing
2 for 2.
Doing Portland, Sonoma from 22 to 24. And again, unfortunate the schedule's changed this year, but love the Arkham Menard Series West and getting to cover that, and also Xfinity and even Cup at Sonoma has been a huge bonus for me. And without them and their hospitality and their friendship and the opportunities that they've all given me, that would not have been possible. Again, you heard from them tonight. Matthew Breault, Tanner Smith, and Matthew Owens, who's been in the chat all night. Thank you especially for this year being fill-in hosts on this show, especially when I was going through some of the mental health situations that I had in the spring, and the challenges of moving and, you know, having my sister get married and all sorts of big life events like that. Going to London, for crying out loud, I went from the West Coast back to the East Coast to the West Coast again, then across the pond. It was a very busy summer, and the show would not have been able to continue on without your contributions to it. So we are so grateful for that. Joe and Daniel Zeri were doing a show called The Women Racing to Win, if I remember correctly, which ultimately became Women in Motorsports. And I believe it is one of the most important shows that we have had here at the Grid Network, to put a spotlight on the talented female drivers, engineers, mechanics, broadcasters, you name it, in this sport. It's one of the beauties of this sport, I think. This is a sport where, you know, there are no debates. Men and women truly can compete on equal playing grounds and on the same track. You put the helmet on, you get behind the wheel of a car. The car doesn't know the gender. And they gave me an opportunity to come on their show in the spring of 2022 when Sarah and Bridget Burgess nearly made history as the first mother and daughter to race against each other. And then they later actually made it in that fall of the 2022 ARCA West season. It's a shame that the relationship with Daniel didn't last as long as it did. And when he left and that partnership ended, the show went away for a few months. And I still remember in the summer of 2023 giving Joe a call and talking about, you know, bringing the clips that I was making to the main channel and ideas that we had to continue to take this program and this outlet to the next level, and talking about the importance of not only bringing this show back, but getting our female talent involved on that show when we did bring it back. Isha Azim, Emily Sharp, Isha Bajwa, your contributions to that show have been invaluable over the last 2.5 years that we've had that show going again. And cannot thank you all enough for that as well. This is the one where, again, I apologize if I missed anybody. I think I got everyone. If I missed anyone, you can let me know afterwards. Alex Anderson, Matt White, Nicole Fry, Jessica Ball, Mara Piacentino, Julia Trusevich, Jessica Arajo, Ed Hunter, Jonathan Fiel, Jackson Lambros, Jackson Todd, and Omi from JBM even helped us out with F2 and F3 one weekend this year. I believe that is everybody that I haven't mentioned yet that I've shared the airways with here at least once in my time at the Grid Network. And all of your contributions, so much appreciated. And then there's this show. Joshua Burch. Again, you heard from him earlier tonight at the very start of the show, over 2 hours ago. Hard to believe we've been going for that long. And Brandon, I will let you tend to your cat here in just a few more minutes here. But man, like I said, we would not have been as successful at the start as we were without Josh's contributions to F3 and F2, Moto 3, Moto 2. The show started as Grid Live Encore. We tried to format it very similarly to the rest of our Grid Live programming on the weekends. And we said, well, man, you know, if we're going to do Xfinity Trucks and ARCA, if we're going to do Indy next, we might as well do F3 and F2. We might as well do Moto 3, Moto 2, and I think maybe even WRC2 was in the mix for a little while as well. Trying to get all the feeder series in there. And man, F2 and F3 coverage is hard enough to come by here in the States. Moto 2, Moto 3 is almost impossible. And again, like I said, what Josh is doing with his channel played no small role in helping us cover those series to the level that we did over the last 4 years. And again, I know that he hasn't been on as much over the last year or two, but it's been because his channel has taken off. He's doing great things, and we wish him nothing but the best over there as well. Casey Campbell, who you saw in the chat earlier tonight as well. Again, I'm sorry, Casey, but it didn't work out for you to be with us longer than you were. But you your contributions and the time that you were here are so deeply appreciated. You helped us expand our open wheel coverage, not just to cover Indy Next, but also USF Pro 2000, USF 2000, and USF Juniors.
Yeah.
And I don't think that Miles Rowe interview happens without the connections that Casey has to that world and being able to reach out to Miles and get him on Life on the Grid again for one of my favorite interviews that we've ever done. Again, played no small role in the success of this show. And
Absolutely.
We still have continued to miss his contributions, but I'm so glad that he stopped by the chat room tonight. And then there's you, my friend. The last one I have to thank. It's been said that solo radio is one of the hardest things to do in all of media. And I can't tell you how lost I would have been, how difficult it would have been if I had to come on here every Monday night by myself, or even every Monday night with a different co-host and not being able to develop that chemistry. Man, it has been an absolute pleasure, and it's not over. We are going to continue to work together, I'm sure, for years to come. But thank you. And if I say much more, as Murray Walker once said, I'm going to have to stop because I've got a lump in my throat.
Well, thank you, Ben. This has been fantastic, and it's just I feel like I've operated as your mirror, basically. I've said it before, and you've spit it right back out. You spit it back to me that I'm an integral part of the show, but as much as you say that, I will say what everyone else also knows, that you are the foundation of this show. This is your show, and I know we're both here, but these are your scripts and your topics and your open segments. You are the reason that I have anything to talk about, really. I mean, yeah, sure, I can think of some things, but I feel like I have been here for the purpose of giving you something to talk back to, someone to talk back to, and I feel like I fulfilled that role there. But anything more was just a bonus. But this has been your show, man, and I can't wait to see where we can go in 2026. But I just want to say, don't underestimate how important you were to your own show. I mean, this has been your baby, and thank you for allowing me for Joe and Kobe allowing me to be a part of it. But thank you for enduring my weird phrases, I guess, or just ramblings at some point. But also, I mean, we had some good clicking times too. But thank you for allowing me to be a part of the vision here.
All right, for the final time, let's go through the chat. Some of your comments here. Adam, you guys will always be family to me. I'll miss Grid Encore on Monday nights. We will miss talking to you, Adam, and I hope that you join us wherever we end up, because like I said, we're going to continue to work together, I think, for a long time to come. And likewise to Kobe as well. Thank you, Ben and Brandon. See you on the other side. We will see you as well, my friend. Denver as well, one of our regulars in the chat, saying thank you here. And a shoey,
Denver,
for both of us.
A shoey.
I guess in honor of Daniel Ricciardo. There you go. Yeah, one more from Adam here as well. Cheers to both of you, two people who I call friends and family. That is very much appreciated, Adam. We
thanks, sir.
Appreciate that a lot. All right. Well, for the final time, Brandon Crosslin, any final thoughts before we sign off the Encore finale?
Mr. Rogers once said, often when you think you're at the end of something, you're at the beginning of something else. So thank you for spending your Monday nights with us, and Lord willing, we'll continue to do this in a new exciting form at some point here in the future. So I won't say goodbye, but simply farewell. God bless all of you, and here's to 2026.
If you've been watching this show, you'll know that I've been paying homage to Around the Horn for the last couple of months, ever since that show ended. Tony Reale would always sign off by saying, we'll see you after a 23.5-hour break or 71.5-hour break if it was a weekend. And I've been saying we'll see you after a 167-hour break. Normally, these shows are not normally 2 3/4 hours long. They're normally just around an hour. But on the Around the Horn finale, he said, this is an 1.5-hour break because this is the last show. this is not an infinity and a half hour break for us. We are going to be back again in some capacity. We don't have anything formal to announce just yet, but we do have some ideas we are kicking around for the future. And I will see you, as I mentioned to Joe, F1 Academy is coming to Las Vegas in less than 2 weeks here. And there will be a Women in Motorsports episode, either, again, previewing, recapping, or both that race weekend. And I will be a part of that and continue to be a part of that show. And I will see you in 2026, I'm sure, if a new playoff format is announced or if something crazy enough happens in this sport, if somebody at Ferrari continues to prove that they are the Dallas Cowboys of Formula One, whether it's one of their drivers or one of their team bosses, I am sure I will be making a guest appearance in here from time to time, and I'm very much looking forward to that. So, for the final time, for Joshua Burch, for Matthew Breault, for Tanner Smith, for Kobe Lambeth, for Joe Samaniego, for Brandon Crosslin, I'm Ben Schneider. Thank you all so much for watching over the last 4 years, and we will see you down the road. Have a great rest of your week and great rest of your 2025, everybody.